Yo, yo, yo. We're live. It's decision day. Things were done. Decisions were made. People were signed. Some people weren't signed. Some people ended up not actually being signed yet, but being released from the club that employed them previously, and they'll be announced tomorrow. Because, it's crazy. It's silly season for a reason. I made that rhyme by accident. That's pretty cool. It's nuts. We'll get caught up on all that. We'll get caught up on World Cup qualifiers. We will get caught up on picks of the week. We will get caught up on all the other ridiculousness in the world of football. It's soccer over there. Hello.
Nick's already got migraine for something.
What is that about?
I'm all right. Look, man. Look, it's Monday. It's deadline day. There's a sense of relief.
Okay.
There is an acknowledgement of maybe some intelligent decisions that should have been made earlier, and some teams that are maybe a little bit of justification in some actions over there. Who knows? We're gonna get into all of it though. I hope everyone out there is having a wonderful day or evening whenever you're listening to this wonderful podcast, because we're on different platforms and whatnot. So
we're everywhere.
We're everywhere, okay? We go to Mongolia. By Mongolia, I think. Tic-tac.
It was awesome. Like the window in Spain, for some reason, was on the 30. So it was like, yeah, because it's Spain, they're whatever. And, of course, Barcelona didn't have to announce Aubameyang before the window closed because I guess he had his contract mutually stopped at Arsenal, so they're going to announce him tomorrow. I just, for some reason, keep expecting them to have screwed this up somehow and him not be able to join Barcelona tomorrow.
Right. Well,
but
we would think.
Yeah, it's Barca. I mean, they would do.
So did you terminate the contract or not? Yeah. I terminated the contract. Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. You're starting to sign. Wait a minute. The phone rings in the office.
Well, reportedly showed up in Barcelona without having really set this up, and Arsenal didn't know where he was. There was talk about him oh no, I'm visiting family in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't going to happen. Then it was going to happen. Then it wasn't going to happen. Then he does a medical. Then he was at the offices. Laporta walking out of the offices, fist pumping to, I guess, whoever was out there watching. They ordered pizzas into the offices a few hours ago. I mean,
could they afford that?
Yes, they could afford some pizzas, John. That's just mean. That's just absolutely mean.
Had to put it out there.
No, that's being.
It's an outgoing expense. They didn't have to get rid of a player. They didn't have to get rid of Ansu Fati or anything.
They didn't have to register the pizzas with La Liga's offices. No, they just ordered the pizzas to eat them.
Just checking.
They probably had them gifted to them.
John, how many times do you think the card bounced before they finally got somebody?
That's probably, they might have had to go through.
Laporte is going through the wallet. It's like.
No, they might have had to split it. I mean, they might have had to split it among two cards. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying they were able to register.
One didn't work. Okay,
John, don't put your card actually up to the cameraman.
Yeah, don't do that. People,
you're gonna cancel the card now.
Jeez, man,
there's nothing behind it.
Come on.
There's nothing behind it, so it doesn't matter. They want to add to the account. They can.
Man,
it's like, all right.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, I could just see Laporta sitting there trying to, and the delivery guy looking for a tip. And
look, John, Laporta's going to be ordering pizzas on your card tomorrow. Okay, that's what's about to happen.
Like I said, ain't nothing behind it. It bounced, so it'd be the same thing happen in the offices in Barcelona today. Tomorrow,
they're going to try. Yes, Coco. John starts the show by doxing himself. That's man. Yes. Alex Bassine, we won't talk about Newcastle at all then. We won't do it. You're here, and he said you were going to leave, so we won't talk about them. They were pretty active today. They signed a very large defender. He's 6'7"
million.
How much?
$90 million in expenses overall.
Not for him.
No, not just the one.
Thank you. Please clarification.
No, not the one dude. Dan Burn.
Thank you. If they paid $90 million for Dan Burn, I have some serious issues.
13 for Dan Burn of the 90 that they apparently spent on the day.
Okay. Why is the big deal about the 90? I thought they might actually spend more.
And that's the thing, is a lot of folks were wondering, is Newcastle going to completely and totally break the so-called bank? And it turns out it was just $90 million in expenses with everything that was inbound and outbound.
That's everything in the window.
Yes.
Okay. I guess they got pretty much everything they needed. Pretty much. Getting Burn was probably the big one because they needed another defender.
Yeah.
Guimaraes is a good addition. I like that one a lot.
Yes.
Target. They should have stayed up anyway, but if they don't stay up now, then you got some serious questions, Eddie Howe.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not know that Dan Burn is missing a finger, Alex.
Not aware of that.
That's news.
Yeah, I was not aware of that.
He's missing a finger?
Naturally or via consequence?
I need more information.
I'm efforting said information.
Okay, that's interesting. Ropes wants thoughts on Frank Lampard managing Everton and all of their additions on the day. I like Lampard at Everton. I do. I mean, it's so funny like how the narratives go. I really do think there's like a secret memo department where memos are sent out and it's like, okay, now this is going to be how we're going to go now. This is the narrative now publicly. Right. Like when Lampard's name started to come up, the narrative was, well, why are all these former footballers getting these gigs? Why are all these former players getting the opportunities? I'm like, because that's how it's always been. Now it's always will be. Like, really? Are we shocked?
Large, yes.
I mean, generally, yeah. Like, he's going to get an opportunity. Mm-hmm. He did take Chelsea to, second? Did they finish second in his full year? He got him in the Champions League. He got top 4 with a very young squad. That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Was he able to go past that? No. Thomas Tuchel came in and finished it off. But did he stink? No.
No, he wasn't. That's the key thing here is that this isn't a Primavera manager who's getting elevated and thrown into the fire. We saw that with Milan, right? When Milan was going through their cycle of managers, they were like, okay, who's next in line in the Primavera? Okay, Gattuso, you're up. No. Inzaghi, you're up. No. And it was just like boop, 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 all the way down. Lampard's paid his dues, and he knows he's been in a pressure cooker.
He did the time in the championship too. I mean, he's got a pretty good background here. Yeah, he's got to be better defensively. That's if I've got a question, from watching that group at Chelsea, they were very attack minded, pretty fun to watch. Mm-hmm. They were bad defensively. They got better when they actually got a goalkeeper who wasn't a nightmare at times.
Correct.
But that part of the game would be a bit of a question. And I think at Everton, he'll be fine. I think he'll be exciting. I think the fans will love him. I think it's a good hire. I think it's a better hire than somebody with no real connection for that fan base. And that was generally the reaction to Vitor Pereira was, we're not really excited about this. Lampard, everybody's engaged. Mm-hmm. You go out and you get Dele Alli, who we know his potential. Lampard would be somebody who could potentially unlock that, get him back to where he was at his best. Mm-hmm. I like the moves they made. I like Lampard. I like the hire.
Yeah. And, Van de Beek was looking for a fresh start from his time at Manchester.
Yeah, I really like that addition, too. I think he's a quality player. He just needs to play.
Yeah. Right. Oh, and the answer to our Dan Burn trivia.
Thank you.
Here's the deal. Wearing a ring when he was climbing a fence.
Oh, no.
At the age of 13.
I didn't wear rings at 13. That's weird. But anyway.
He's missing apparently his ring finger on his right hand. He's never addressed the fact in an interview. Wearing a ring on it, climbing a fence at the age of 13. The item of jewelry is said to have caught on a spike.
Ow!
In the finger being ripped off.
Ah!
So yeah, he does not have a ring finger on his. He's got basically to the first knuckle, and there's the rest of the finger is not
Wow.
there on his right hand.
Okay, I'm going to blame Alex for bringing that topic to the floor tonight.
Pain.
I'm going to probably have nightmares about my finger getting ripped off on a fence.
Well,
Thanks.
I mean, same thing. There wasn't
We'll be careful.
No. The other instance
Be
that
really
I'm
good.
reminded of, and this is a former Braves pitcher, Gary Gentry,
Okay.
who was basically the same height as Dan Burney. He's like 6'6", Cecil Upshaw. And Upshaw in 1972, I think, because he was a former basketball player, they were saying, okay, I bet you can't touch that sign. And so he reaches up with his left hand and his wedding band is on it. And he reaches up and his wedding band gets caught on the underside of the sign. And it basically destroyed the ligaments in his ring finger. And he was never the same pitcher again for the Braves, the Astros, or the Yankees after the incident when he was walking on the street one night after dinner.
I'm glad that was nothing like his finger getting ripped off, because I didn't want to hear about another finger getting ripped off story. I'm really baffled by the whole thing. Again, Alex, I blame you. Okay, question from the floor, and John, you're going to have to answer this one because this is in your wheelhouse.
Sure.
How do you rate the Swansea window? Colonel wants to know. Fisher, Burns, Christie, Ogbetta, and Wolf. Some departures, mostly loans.
Right.
What do you think about where Swansea is after the window?
I mean, right now they're 18th in the table, and they're in that group in the lower third. Right now, relegation is.
But have they bettered themselves?
For me, you've played 26 matches out of 48, and the one thing that worries me when you have all of these wholesale changes, that it's going to take a while for everyone to get integrated and into what they want to have them do. And so that's the concern. I think that it will be better. Obviously, I think they're going to be safe.
They have a 12-point cushion.
Right. I think they'll be safe. It's just that positioning, and they're in that group right now from 16 to 19, and a win can get you, closer to 12th and 13th and what have you. I think they'll be fine. It's just that I think that they'll be better later than there will be immediately because of all of the turnover. I think it's just going to take some time for everybody to get acquainted with each other, to where you're not just staring at like a name tag on a helmet, like in training camp when you don't know the player's name. You look on the back of the jersey, and it's like, oh, okay, that's who you are. It's going to take a while. I think they'll be okay.
You were making an American football reference with the helmets, right? Because I haven't seen a soccer training camp with people wearing helmets. Although
you have guys looking around on the back of the jersey, you sit there and it's like, okay, so that's who you are. Oh, hi, get acquainted.
Question, and Colonel, you might have to help me with this one. If you're 18th in the table, you're 12 points clear. I'm not really worried about you getting relegated. You're making these additions, I would assume, for next year as much as anything. Do you feel like Swansea's in a better place to be competitive for next year? Because that would seemingly be the strategy. You're not. Well, I mean, you're 13. You're 12 points clear of safety. You're 13 points behind getting into the promotion playoffs.
I don't see that. It's going to take a Herculean effort to.
Then it'd take a Herculean effort to collapse and get relegated too. So then you're thinking about next year, is what I'm saying. Like, I would assume that these moves are that, because I don't know what else they'd really be doing at this stage. Right. That would be my guess. Trying to get some other questions while we got people excited. Mr. Fantastic wants to it says thoughts on the handle of the Bello transfer to Armenia Bielefeld. I mean, we've had Darren Eels on. He talked to us on the game yesterday. We had him on. We issued the podcast earlier. I think the way this has been reported is probably not the way that it actually went down. I think there were probably some spinning of things in the reports. Player got the move that they wanted. The club got some transfer revenue, and the club was ready to deal with the loss. I really think this is starting to become a bizarre situation to me, and I just don't know what else to say about it, to be honest. Every move there is worry about how it was handled, or what did the club not do right, or they messed this up, or it's getting really out of hand. Like, if you follow the game and you followed anything with decision day and you followed anything with the transfer deadlines, the way things went down with Bello happened in every country with probably 5 or 6 different clubs and agents saying things and clubs saying things and clubs who have the player saying different things, because that's how the game is played. Ultimately, you got to do business. And I think the elements that go into it for Atlanta United, and we talked about it this morning, they don't have to sell just to make money. That's never a consideration of just, we have to bring in revenue. They were never going to sell last summer, no matter what was being offered, because if you sell a player in midseason and you have a championship goal in mind, which is what everybody points to that Atlanta United has said many times, is they want to win championships. Okay. If you sell your starting left back in the summer without a ready replacement, I would assume people would be upset. So you can't now, after the fact, say they should have sold him in the summer, as I've seen some people say. They didn't need the money. They waited until the time was right for the club, which was now, with Andrew Gutmann back, with Caleb Wiley signed. You kept Mikey Ambrose for a reason as well. And that's where it is. Like, I think they handled it the way they could handle it. I don't think they did anything wrong.
I don't understand. We hear the same things, right? That the FO was dealing with this. They were being egotistical about it. The Bocanegra's not doing this or that. Now, and my thing is, like, the player went to the club the player wanted to go to. The team got money. It didn't seem like there was anything really out of sorts. And I'll give an example. When Tonali was leaving Brescia, there was talk that Juve was trying to get in on it, that Inter was trying to get in on it, that Milan was not offering enough money, that, and there was this whole drama thing. And Milan fans started getting worked up. They said, oh, well, get off your butts and open up the pocketbook and get the player in. And the more this drama swirled, we started hearing things like, well, Tonali he's been a Milan fan for his whole life, but he's willing to go to Inter. The deal is all but done. And then he gets signed by Milan, and they're like, yeah, we weren't going to go to Inter. This is the only place we wanted to be. We don't know really what's going on here. So there's always going to be some drama surrounding these moves. And some of it is generated by the agent who's attempting to get a higher fee. Higher fees mean higher commission for the agent. So that's to their benefit. And agent's job, it's not to Atlanta United. It's not to some other club. It's to the player. And in the end, their own pocketbook.
Yeah.
In the media, sometimes it gets things that are reported by either an agent or a source or someone close to a player who may have overheard something. And you're getting not even secondhand information.
Yeah, it turns into telephone at that point.
Yeah, third hand removed, so it's hard for me to sit there and say, and understand this, I am not employed by the team. I don't make one dime from the team. So I don't see this move and think to myself, man, the FO really messed up here. Like, you sold a homegrown player to a top league in the world. You didn't sell them to, like, with the Pitti move, I get it. People are like, oh, well, we were expecting him to go to Europe instead. He went to the Middle East. Okay, fine. Team got all their money. Atlanta United got all their money.
And Pitti got paid.
And Pitti got paid. So it was a win-win. Maybe not to the fans, but which made it a win-win-win.
But let me touch on that, because you actually bring up something that's really interesting here. That is, I don't know why it's a consideration. I really, truly don't get it.
Yep.
What does it matter about the reported sale price, or what does it matter about what club they go to if you are an Atlanta United fan? They're not here. You don't get style points for where the transfer happens. You don't get bonus points in the table if you make a little bit more money in the transfer.
Right.
That has nothing to do with it. Again, because it goes back to, if you are at a club that you got to sell to be able to buy.
Right.
Then we're having a different conversation, because you have to make a certain amount of money to be able to make the signings you need to make. Right. That's where that comes in. That's not the case here. That has nothing to do with it in Atlanta.
And here's the thing. Every academy kid that's there now let's say that there's one or two that are waffling on whether to stay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I go to some other academy. You know what they just saw? They saw a kid who came up entirely through the system and moved to the Bundesliga.
And a
So
local kid who did it too.
A local kid, right? It's not somebody who moved in from out of country and came through, cycled around in the academy system, got bumped up, and then moved along. No, this kid who, like, Atlanta, baby, through and through, and now is going where?
Armenia.
So now every kid can sit there and look and go, okay, I can do this. This team's serious. When they come to us and they say, we think you can move overseas, at some point, there's a process in place. The process is being adhered to. The club is naturally going to do what is in their interest, but they could have done a lot of different things here, and instead, from what it looks like, everybody played ball, and yet I'm still seeing some pushback from it.
Yeah,
and
here's how you know they played ball. Here's how you know. John, go back and look up when Atlanta acquired Andrew Gutman's rights.
Will do.
Because when they did that, everybody said, why are you adding another left back? He started at Cincinnati. He's a Celtic player. Why would you go get him? Why would you trade up? I remember that conversation. Why'd they trade up in the reentry draft or the waiver draft? I can't remember which one he was in. Why'd they do that? They don't need him. They knew what was coming.
Right.
They had been talking to Bello and his people.
Right.
It's called planning ahead.
Right.
You know, they knew they were going to get one more year out of Bello.
Mm-hmm.
They loaned him to Red Bulls so Gutman would play and not sit and also not take time from Bello. It was all planned out while developing Caleb Wiley.
But let's go one more. Let's go one more. How we know that nothing went sideways on this. Bello could have said, he could have talked to this team and said, hey, you know what? We're going to sit tight. We're going to play it out. And then I'm just going to come on a free. Don't worry about it. We'll play hardball and we'll walk away on a free. And it's no big deal. They could have done that and they didn't. And instead, everybody wins. I think there's ego that comes into this, that we looked at the Miguel Almiron transfer. It was a high dollar move to the Prem for MLS standards. It was a sky high move for MLS standards. And we were like, we've done it. We put the player in the Premier League. We, clearly we exalted in our magnificence. And then because the Bello move isn't for $10, $15 million, everybody's like, wait a minute. Oh, come on. It's highway robbery. No, you moved a homegrown player. You proved to all your academy kids that the system works. Whenever you, focus, pay attention, play well, invest yourself into your craft, not do other things that get you in trouble and whatnot. You can move. You can make these kind of moves to a big league. And now you have GAM that you can use to buy players down. You could have more cash flexibility. You can buy someone out. You have so much more flexibility now with moves like this. And I get it. Everyone, the people who I've seen consistently are mad about a couple of different things. They're still mad about Tito. They want Tito here. They want Gressel still here. They want, player X here. Well, look, I understand that, but this salary cap league that we have with MLS is different than every other salary cap league in the United States, in that it is the top tier. The only thing I would say that comes close is the NHL, maybe, when players can leave and go to Russia.
Right.
But MLS is not the top tier soccer league
in the sport.
So players have flexibility. Players can say, all right, I'm going to hold out. I'm going to wait, and I'll make a move abroad for free. There's more there's more mechanisms in play here. And with the salary cap, you have to maintain roster compliance, make money, do what's right for the player, do what's right for the club. It's not as simple as like player, keep player. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You have to get value for your position.
Right.
And when Tata Martino, if you look at the way Tata Martino ran his system, you had Garza that typically hung back. You had Gressel that would go forward. and it was an offset 3-5-2. You saw this a lot in Italy back in the old days. The offset 3-5-2 allows the outside right winger, if you set up that way, to do more crosses, deliveries into the box, and they're supported underneath by a midfielder and and an outside back.
Yeah, this was at the end of Tata's time,
yes, toward the end.
and regular season towards the end, not even the playoffs, because in the playoffs he moved Gressel inside and played Escobar as the wing back. But in the season, you had Escobar as a right center back at times. He would slide over. It turns into essentially a line of 4 with Gressel floating up high, Garza as a left back, 2 center backs, and Escobar as an auxiliary right back.
Right, and so you had substantial help for Gressel underneath.
Yeah.
Because Gressel wasn't a natural defender. And that's not a knock on Gressel. He just wasn't a natural defender.
Not the part of his game that's his strength. That's
Right.
That's how players are.
It is. It is what it is. And so now you have a player who I think has a higher motor, far better from a cost perspective to the team, and can execute the role at a higher level. And you could talk about the crosses and everything else, but we're missing that. That's one part of the game that can be easily taken away from you by a defense. And now instead you have to account for somebody who can literally go box to box all game long. He can run any of your midfielders ragged, any of your defenders ragged. Have fun with that. But it's the choices like this that end up coming to fruition in a salary cap league. And it just
you can go back, talking about planning, I mean, you can go back to the end of 2018 when they moved Garza for assets to create room for Bello in the first place.
Yes.
Like, you're always planning this stuff out. I think that
it's hard when the championship team gets broken up.
Yeah, it is. But we've had this conversation about caps and all of it. Like, that's not going away. Like, that's real. And I think what at times pollutes the conversation here about this is personal feelings about a player from people on the outside. And if your guy isn't here and moves on, that doesn't mean somebody did a bad job or made a mistake. It just means your favorite player is no longer in that team.
Right.
Yes.
When you have to separate that at times, because I said it this morning, I'll say it again. I think what Atlanta got for Julian Gressel and what DC ended up paying him in salary, and Atlanta going and replacing him with Brooks Lennon, Atlanta made a really good deal in a cap league.
Absolutely.
You don't have a cap league, and an incredible deal in a cap league for what they did. Right. But if you don't have a cap league and you say, hey, we want to be able to use him on the wing, we want to do this, cool, you can do it. But that's not the case. He got a huge raise, probably a little bit too much for what he's done so far. And good agent. Good negotiation. Good on them.
Willing to pay what he wanted.
Exactly. And that's a big part of it. I'm with Bern. I'm totally with you. The market is what the market is.
Right.
And to look at this and compare, like, they should have got more here, should have got more compared to this guy. Brian Reynolds has been a touch point for me for a long time. I think Bello's a much better player than Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds went in earlier times than now with COVID effects. With COVID effects on the market. The market.
Keep in mind that there's a relationship between the ownership of Roma and the ownership of FC Dallas.
That's a whole other element.
The owner of Roma is heavily invested in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of community ties there that help grease the wheels on that move. That had those ties not been there, I don't think that move necessarily gets done. So
it's absolutely.
It was the system,
Absolutely. But I think what it comes down to is just this idea that it's a bad move because whatever dollar figure wasn't what somebody on the outside thought it would be.
Right.
To be perfectly frank, that dollar figure doesn't really mean anything to what Atlanta United is going to be in 2022.
Yeah.
It means nothing.
And the numbers. Just real quick, and the numbers that are being floated out there as a part of this transaction, just so folks know. Yes, there is a fee that Arminia Bielefeld has paid, but there are reports out there that there are escalators that could come back to be 3 times the number that was paid up front by Arminia Bielefeld, and Atlanta United still has a percentage of the pass going forward.
Yeah, which that part's typical, yeah.
Yeah, so you have upfront money, escalators that can give you more money, plus a percentage of the pass going forward. So this, to me, in a cap league, when you get upfront plus easily attainable incentives from what we understand, plus this pass, that gives you more money for someone that you brought through your system.
It's not about the cap league for that, John. It's about the way MLS functions with allocation money, which is unique. That's not a cap thing. That's an MLS mechanism that is what it is. They're going to get, if those escalators are hit, they'll have over $1 million in allocation money that they'll get added. It might not be all at once. It might be over 2 years, depending on how that's paid out. But you'll have more roster flexibility.
Yep.
That helps you in the cap league. But ultimately, like, if it was 3 million versus 2 million, if it was, 5 versus 1.8, you wouldn't have any more money to work with in the cap. Right. You wouldn't have more to work with. And they're not going to go chase more money from a team that the player didn't want to go to. They're not going to get it. They're not going to do that. There's no need to do that. Mm-hmm. So, look, like, it's just this really weird dynamic that you're not affecting what the team's table position is next year based off if some other club might have offered them more money at a different time. Right. That means nothing. They weren't going to sell outside of the winter window. They wanted to make sure they were covered and planned for. They did. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They've done everything they can do. They did right by the player who came up through their program and is going to be one of their poster, players for a long time because he's the first homegrown to make the national team, the first homegrown to get sold to a top 5 league in Europe.
Yep. And again, it benefits the player. It benefits the team. And I get nostalgia is a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
And
I don't even think that's the case with this. That's what drives me nuts is I'm not seeing it. I think it is in other cases. I don't think it is with Bello because I'm not seeing people saying, oh, they shouldn't have sold. I'm seeing people like saying, oh, they should have got more money or they should have sold him at another time. Or like, it's weird. It just doesn't make any sense.
COVID is a thing. The COVID economy is a thing. Mm-hmm. And there were a great many teams around the globe, big boys, that were 2 steps away from liquidation because they were broke. The biggest of bigs were going broke. And the one league that did not have this trouble was MLS. And, it's this way the system's set up, the system works. So, I have an invader here. Thank you.
You deal with the invader. I'm going to hit a couple more things from the Twitch pitch. Burned, I agree with you. Sam Vines, comparable level, $2 million going to Belgium. I agree. I think Bello's in a better spot at Arminia Bielefeld than at Royal Antwerp. I think he's in a better spot. Mm-hmm. The part about the GAM, there is a limit on how much can become GAM, and you can't double dip 4 cards. So, like, there's a 1.05 million limit. And once you hit that limit in whatever ways it's done, so if it's 600,000 up front and then the extra 400,000 and some change when he hits an escalator, that's it. So if you sell later and there's a sale and you get 20 or 25%, I've seen 25% in some places, you just get that in cash, and that's just cash, and you can use it for whatever you're going to use cash for. So that part's there. We don't know the escalators, Katie. We might get them reported. It just depends on if somebody's going to break that news. Bielefeld and Atlanta United aren't going to give you that. Clubs generally don't. It's down to if the agent wants that out there or somebody gets a hold of it. It's just in 4Card. I did not see that argument. 4Card says wanted more money because they thought they'd get more GAM for it. Talking about people were maybe confused. There's a limit on it, and it's a low limit. Yeah. Like it's 1.05 million a GAM is the most you can convert to this, and it used to be less than that. It used to be under $1 million. So, I mean, if that was maybe throwing people off, okay. I hope that as who was it, Trey Young, who said, I hope the apology is as loud as the criticism or something like that.
Yes.
I hope that maybe people who were misinformed maybe will then say they were misinformed or say they didn't know or whatever. It's weird. And it just, again, it creates, as we talked about this morning, it creates this environment around talking about things that there's always this layer of toxicity that there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
It's so
but that's why
bizarre.
I go back to the nostalgia thing, because it's layered, right? The Bello thing's at the top right now, but it goes all the way back down to the original crew getting moved about, and
Yeah, maybe. I think with Bello it's different, but
you
maybe
know
there's the effect
but
of
that's
the
and
others first.
I think it's like, oh well, yet again they screwed up because they didn't get enough money this time.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too.
You're looking for reasons to be outraged.
The Keystone Cops running this. Yeah,
Right.
it's not the Keystone Cops running Atlanta United. It's. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If Tito Villalba is such an electric player who could do gangbuster things in MLS, why has no one else in MLS signed him? He can be signed by anyone. No team in MLS has made the call.
Why hasn't Boca made the call? Why hasn't River made the call? Why hasn't Internacional in Brazil made the call? Why hasn't Flamengo made the call? Palmeiras,
Right.
all these clubs that have been interested in MLS talents, why haven't they called Libertad? They haven't.
They haven't.
Like
and look, in New England, a lot of the same stuff was happening in the middle of that Patriots dynasty. I can't believe we're letting Lawyer Malloy go. I can't believe we're letting this other player go. I can't believe we're letting this player X or Y go.
I can't believe letting Corey Dillon go after all he did for us.
Like what? And there were a few people who said, "In Bill we trust, and then Super Bowl ring, Super Bowl ring, Super Bowl ring. Okay, all right. And then the system became very clear. You let a player go a year early rather than keeping them too late.
Correct.
All they're doing is just eating your cash up. Because the contracts, once you sign them, you're paying it out unless you have that. Was it once a year you can you have a buyout that you can you can exercise. You don't want to burn that on something as stupid as we signed a bad contract. You want to try to keep that for like special, tucked away. It's an emergency card, get out of jail free card. And you saw the writing on the wall with some of the players who were no longer here. Gressel outperformed his contract. That is the ideal in a salary cap league. But there's also a limit. There's a margin between overperforming and asking for a bit too much cash. And we're not going above this because we understand that skill level and talent doesn't always go like this. Sometimes it goes like this, and you have to account for that.
Yep.
So you have to write smart contracts. And in a salary cap league, you have to put forward the right amount of money. And not everyone's a big fan of that, but I would rather be a championship level team, the team that's constantly in the playoffs, constantly knocking on the door of MLS Cup, that lets players go a year early, than be that team that is like high and super low because you're getting tied with all these bad contracts and players who aren't performing at the same level.
Well, and to be clear, in these cases, and Gressel and Bello are the same in that they were going into the last year of their contract. So you had to make a move when you did. You couldn't hold out on hoping that there was more money in the market for Bello in the summer, because then he could have signed on a free and you would have got nothing.
Yep.
All right. So you want to go ahead and make the move. It's better for him to go to Bielefeld, as Bielefeld's sporting director said yesterday. He's going to have a chance to compete for playing time this year, but they're going to give him time to acclimate. That's going to help him for next year.
Yep.
So you couldn't wait, because then you risk getting nothing. With Gressel, it was the same thing. Once you couldn't figure out a number that made sense, or the numbers that were being requested were too much and they didn't change. And then, as Julian Gressel said in an interview with Chris Smith that came out today, he forced things because he wanted clarification, which is his right. And they found a trade partner and they got it done and he got paid. But at that point, you couldn't wait, because, I mean, could Gressel have gone overseas? Maybe, maybe not. But if it's not going to work, you can't wait and hope that maybe you'll sign a guy and he's out of contract. We've had this conversation, and look, DC's name comes up a lot with this stuff because they've really mismanaged these things for a long time. They were in cap hell coming into this year, according to Stephen Goff. They had to clear some cap space. They have. They got allocation money for Paul Arriola. They got a big transfer fee for Kevin Paredes, which, again, you can only convert $1 million of it, but you get $3 million plus in GAM, and you were having cap issues. That's a big addition, or a big set of additions you can make. But now they got to play catch up. Now they can't really go to Europe and get big names because those guys aren't going to be sold outside of the window that they can add players at replacements. So now you got to catch up. But they did this with Bill Hamid. And Bill Hamid, you go back in the day about a bad business. And this is what you were risking in these situations. Gressel would have been the more likely scenario that could have played out this way. You let him play out his contract. He went overseas on a free. You got nothing. It didn't work out. He made a bad decision on where he went. They loaned him back to DC, so you had to pay for a loan fee to bring him back. Then you had to pay a transfer fee to bring him back. You didn't sign him.
Yeah.
And you needed him. Like, you obviously went back and got him almost immediately.
Yep.
Like, it's that kind of planning that gets you into bad cap situations. Right. And how many trophies have they won over the years since all this has been going on? Yeah, not any. So, like, it's just the situation. And I get it, Alex, and I get it, others who have said this in different ways. Like, I get it. There's narratives out there. There are comments that at times get weaponized to create narratives into whatever direction you want to take them. I totally understand that. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take away the frustration at times, especially as we try to talk about facts, figures, reality, and try to separate from some of that stuff at times. I'm not going to stop trying to clarify these things when we see them and when we can. But yeah, it just gets weird at times, and it gets to be this. Any move that happens is automatically, that sucks, that's bad, that's dumb. They don't know what they're doing. That's awful. And it's like, wait a minute. Why do you think that? Because in the Bello case, there's not really a lot to go on.
Yeah. And I think it is that emotional response that's attached for whatever reason on whatever level. I think that it is the emotional element of it all, like Nick was saying.
Yeah, and Bernd is dead on. One more thing on Bello real quick. You couldn't sell him in January of 21. Because of the COVID depressed market. It was even worse at that point. Yes. January of 20, as we're seeing players now, which players were not being sold from MLS in January of 20, which is not that long ago. They weren't being sold in the way they are now. Like, you didn't get Kevin Paredes kind of sales in January of 20. But that might have been his highest value because he was a little bit younger. He was coming off of, expecting to get a full season, coming off of or the U17 World Cup that year. And he was coming off of injuries. So there were question marks. Remember, Frank de Boer was going to play him as a starter. That was why you traded Greg Garza. He was going to be the starter in 2019. Mm-hmm. Played in the game in Herediano, got hurt, had to have surgery, came back. It was late in the season. You were already settled with what you were doing. You got him ready to play in the U17 World Cup. Again, sacrificing a little bit of where, hey, you could have had him on the bench instead of playing games for the twos. The plan was always to be able to leave early and go to the U17 World Cup. And he got that opportunity. Mm-hmm. So that
sounds like doing right by the player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are teams that would say no to that.
Exactly. It's all tough. Look, it's all tough. And none of this is easy when you're running a team. And every misstep gets magnified, right, especially if you're a bigger team. Well, man, there's been just a few missteps, though.
There have been. But, the thing is, it's like if you are a big spending club, if you're a Bayern Munich, if you are a Real Madrid, if you are Man United or City, you can overcome these trip-ups easily. It's no problem. These are solved easily with money. And because the crest on your jersey means something and has value attached to it, it's easier to move players. Oh, player from where? Man United? Yeah. Bring them in. Let's go. Even if that player's underperformed. Players coming in from Man United, there's a little bit of extra credit added on into that.
Oh, yeah.
We can make a crappy deal for that. Let's make it happen.
Or if they're from Brazil, then there's a premium number.
Absolutely. But what's happening now is the United States are becoming a little more heavily fished by some of these larger clubs. And because Argentina is being overfished, Brazil has been overfished for a long time. And so what you have now is you have coachable kids in the United States whose skill level has been overlooked for a long time. And now teams are realizing, oh, we can get a pretty good talent for how much?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Let's go. And that's why you have these clubs coming through and a lot of German ones, because the way that the Germans do business, I think, is better than anybody else in the world when it comes to soccer and talent identification and development. And so they can sit there and go, yep, soon, yep, and they're paying peanuts compared to what they were paying before. And U.S. soccer is going to be the beneficiary of this. And
get ready for the Canadians too, because they're about to start getting sold like this on a regular basis.
Canada's about to be lit. But if you're Atlanta United, you can look every academy person in the eye. You can look at any transfer inbound and say, we managed to put 2 players into the 2 biggest leagues in the world, and we can put you there too. If you hold up your end, we will do what's right by you. We will do even if look at we sold Miguel Almiron to Newcastle and pain, but we sent this academy kid up and sent him to the Bundesliga, and we didn't make a wall of cash, but we did right by the player, and every agent's going to sit there and go, huh.
You put Barco at River Plate right now to play in Copa Libertadores with maybe one of the most exciting projects in South America right now at River.
And it puts Barco on the map for the Argentine national team for the World Cup. So again, you've done right by the player. And I think that's another move that got a lot of grief, and I don't necessarily understand why. Yeah, you want him to go to Europe, but there are a lot of the teams that were previously rumored to be looking at Barco. The finances aren't exactly stellar right now, and so it's not exactly easy to pull the trigger on these moves. So instead, you made a fantastic move, the loan to River Plate. He's on an even larger stage. You own a significant amount of the pass. 50% of the pass, right?
Yeah, you will if they do the purchase option.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of opportunity here for Atlanta United to get in front of people and say, we're doing this. It's credibility. It's not myth. It's not hope to. It is happening. It's happening now. So,
John, that was your fax machine letting you know it's ready.
Yes, it was my fax machine.
Yeah, that's good. Couple of things really quick to catch up. So, I mean, I guess the biggest thing is transfers are hard, is what you're learning through all of this. It's hard to get it all nailed down to where everybody wins. Generally, you're either somebody's not happy or everybody's kind of like, yeah, we had to give a little on the price, give a little on the years, give a little on the timing. It's really tough. There's a lot of things to balance. And I think MLS has an added layer of difficulty in that when you're talking about the biggest window worldwide is the summer, which is mid-season for MLS, and it's hard to part with substantial, important players in the mid-season when you got to then replace them immediately, and that player's got to hit the ground running.
Yep.
That's a challenge. That's a challenge unique to MLS. There's other leagues that are in that too, but not as many. So you add all that together, and you got to try to plan ahead. And I think where Atlanta United is after this window, which is not done for bringing players in, by the way, there's different windows bringing guys in across the board. You've got time to add players. You've got, I think, 30 guys on the roster right now. I would assume that Justin Garces and Efrain Morales get loaned to the twos for the season. So that's 2 roster spots. That kind of checks with what Darren Neal said yesterday with 1 or 2 additions. You can loan somebody like Wiley back and forth. You don't have to loan him for the full season because he might factor in at times with the first team if he earns that time. But you've got time. You've not reportedly, you got an option on one of the top young players out of Argentina that you can bring him in, and you're in really good shape with a group that was one of the best teams in the league after Gonzalo Pineda took over. It's just, that's real. So we'll see where this goes. We'll talk more about Atlanta United in more depth tomorrow morning as we do in the morning show. This is soccer over there, but it's a transfer day.
It's transfer.
Yeah, Arminia Bielefeld. It is. Arminia Bielefeld is a team that they're trying to stay up in Germany. If Bello can give them anything, they're going to take it straight away. They are Red Bull-esque in that they are going to be a pressing team, so Knicks are immediately excited. They are bottom in the Bundesliga in possession at 39%. They are bottom in the Bundesliga in passing percentage at 69%. Those are hallmarks of a Red Bull style. We don't want the ball. We're not going to try to make high percentage passes. That's what you get. They were, I think, 7th in pressures, which isn't an exact stat. Sometimes that is a little variable, but they're in the top half. So, yeah, he's going to be playing in that kind of a system. He's got the motor for it. I think he's got the speed for it. I think defensively in those moments, he's played in those moments in Atlanta, so he's got some of that. I think he's got to be the biggest thing for George Bello going to the Bundesliga is when he gets on the ball in the final third. And they're not going to build up the same way. They're not going to try to overlap him and get him down there. When he gets those opportunities, he's got to produce.
Yep.
He's got to produce. That was the one issue I had with him at times. But I think his tackling, his awareness, jumping into passing lanes, all that has improved dramatically over the last couple of years. So if he gets the call, they're going to need him in a big way because they're trying to stay up.
Right now, Arminia Bielefeld tied for next to last in wins with Augsburg and Stuttgart with 4, and they have the most draws this season with 9. And right now at 21 points, they're right in it. I mean, you could get a win and you'd be up in 11th, or you hit a rough patch like Wolfsburg, who's lost 4 of their last 5, and you're right back into the relegation scrap.
It's going to be a USA relegation scrap in Germany because you've got Bello at Bielefeld, you've got Brooks and Paredes at Wolfsburg, you've got Pepe at Augsburg, who right now is in the relegation playoff spot. You've got Materazzo, the coach at Stuttgart. They're in a relegation spot right now. You've got Julian Green at Greuther Fürth. So it is an American relegation battle in Germany. Tune in on ESPN Plus.
Yes. And I think it's what the point that Darren made yesterday, where you're going to have a lot of Atlanta United fans now following a team in the Bundesliga that they may not have known anything about.
Well, you already got them trying to buy jerseys, and Bielefeld's not really set up to sell jerseys to the U.S. yet. So they're going to be on it real quick because they're going to sell a bunch of jerseys to Georgia zip codes.
And there are things that are currently on special at the store that I have been looking at, so we'll see.
Sell, Mortimer, sell!
Yeah.
Yes. It's happening right now in that office. Sell, Mortimer!
They're like, wait a minute, what?
Turn the machines back on!
What I hope has happened in that office is I hope that they've seen some of the tweets, and they had to try to look up what y'all translated to.
Yes.
Because I hope that really threw them off. What? We can translate the rest of this, but what is y'all? What is that?
Ask Derek Ray if they know, figure out what y'all mean.
The real problem, from what I understand, Byrne, correct me here, is that German is a very precise language. There's not a lot of room for, for like ambiguity on numbers here. So it's what was the movie where they had to completely rename the movie in German because people didn't. Was it Dr. Strangelove that I think they had to completely rename it because it was like How I Learned it, because it's Dr. Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, and I think they had issue with the bomb, and so it was like, well, okay, how do we like? The Germans aren't going to understand this, so. That's what we need. We need y'all. Byrne, help us out with this.
I don't know. I don't think y'all is going to have much of a translation to German, which could be highly entertaining. Other deals that were done today, other bits of news. We talked a little bit about Aubameyang that should be officially announced tomorrow. A lot of reporters in the UK, 442 was trying to sell the narrative that Ramsey to Rangers is the biggest move of the window. I thought you'd like that one, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's a big move. It's huge. Bigger than that Dusan Vlahovic guy going.
It's the best move of the window.
You know, bigger than Luis Diaz going to Liverpool, you know.
Coutinho, if you want to count the window and not just deadline day. But
Get your clicks, baby. Get your clicks.
mm-hmm.
Whatever you need to do.
Yeah, I
Whatever
mean,
gets that ad serving up.
look, when Rangers is able to get a guy that I would hope is well rested because he's only played in 5 games with Juventus this season. Started the season opener in league play. He should be fresh. Juve's going to pay most of his salary because they were so brokenhearted about letting him go. It's a good deal for Rangers. Yeah,
no doubt.
Great deal for Rangers.
But how much is he going to affect things?
Not at all. Look, this goes back to Juve writing contracts with their eyes closed. And if you were a player on a free who seemed to have maybe just another year or so left, Juve was bringing you in for a run.
Yeah, he had a few sections on Wikipedia. It's like, oh, okay, I'll bring him in.
Yeah, get that guy in here. But it was just a disaster zone. In the end, when Juve, who is pretty cash strapped, says, "Yeah, we're going to cover the salary. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
You're
just
good.
Get him out of here.
You're
Whatever
good.
it takes, we'll cover it. Just tell him to go. And so when you have a team with serious financial problems saying, "Yeah, we'll cover the salary, just get him out," that should tell you the kind of deal that you're getting. So
to clarify, 442's tweet said.
Yes.
Aaron Ramsey has been announced as a Rangers player with an option to make his loan permanent in the summer. Question. Surely the signing of the window.
That's a self-fulfilling. That's a
not the day, not any of that. They said of the window, which is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
442. I like you, but that's absurd.
Yeah. And then they also Juve sends Kulusevski to Tottenham on loan and Betancourt to Tottenham for a fee.
And that's a sale. Katie wants a scouting report on the Juve guys now at Spurs.
Conte's going to get the most out of him. They're gonna understand what he wants very quickly.
He'd know them, so I mean, these are guys he wanted.
Yeah, Conte's a guy who, if he's going to cook the dinner, he wants to shop for the groceries. So he knows what he's getting, and he's going to be able to maximize those players right away. So all in all, it's a good deal for Spurs. I'm never betting on you guys again in anything ever in life. It can be Spurs versus Boy Scout Troop 773. It doesn't matter. I have learned my lesson.
Take the Scouts.
Taking the Scouts, right? We're gonna. Are there any Weebelos in this? No, we're not doing. But they all got their fire badges, right? Yeah. Bring them on. Okay, I'm taking them. Take them plus 200. Yep, done. I've learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson with Spurs. No, you're going to be fine. Look, Antonio Conte he only gets players who he knows will work. He's not a big risk taker when it comes to acquiring talent and trying to find out whether or not they'll fit with what he wants to do. He knows lock, stock, and barrel what these guys can do. It's good for you.
I think it'll work out for Spurs.
It's going to work out for Spurs.
Spurs struggled a little bit in the window at times because they were linked to a million different players and they were missing on some guys. And I think maybe a little bit of the wake-up call of this window that probably won't be heard is just having a English address is not enough to get every player.
Yeah.
Vlahovic wanted no part of going. He wanted to go to Juve.
Yep.
You had guys who just didn't want to make the move to an Arsenal or to a Tottenham or to a Newcastle. You had guys who said no to potentially very lucrative deals. It's not a trend yet. It's one window, and it's a certain set of players who are making decisions for them. But it was eye-opening how often that was being reported.
I know it's not a trend for soccer yet, but I think it shows more globally a trend, which is that people are making moves that will not just benefit them in the pocketbook, but also benefit them from a lifestyle standpoint. And so Vlahovic, that's a move that, again, we've talked about this before. There are significant tax breaks for playing in Italy.
Yeah.
Two, I'm a bit biased, but if somebody says, yeah, man, you can live in northern Italy or you can go and
And he's living in Cristiano Ronaldo's mansion, I think.
Yeah,
Well, he took his number. He might as well take his house.
might as well. And or if I can go play in England, I'm probably going to want to lean toward playing in Italy simply because it's Italy. And I have the Alps, like an hour or so away. I have, a very short ride down to Liguria and down to Genoa, and there's beautiful beaches and whatnot. I mean, come on, it's a lifestyle thing as well. And yes, there is prestige that comes with playing in the Premier League, but that's not the life that everyone wants. And when you talk about everything that goes with playing in the Premier League, it's not just playing at Old Trafford. It's not just playing at hearing the cop in full song. It's the paparazzi. It is the media trying to hack your phones. It's everything that goes along with it. And I'm sorry, that to me, just like not even the issues that are kind of happening with England anyway, but I'm talking about like all the stuff that comes with the paparazzi, the toxic media environment. To me, that's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just not worth it. It's hard for players to develop in that environment, and it's more so. It's difficult if you look around, you may not have the quality of life you want either. So I would rather take roughly the same cash and have a better quality of life. That's just me. And I think that's happening globally right now. You have people who are saying, I'm walking away from this pretty secure job to try to find something that I want to be doing. Because let's be honest, the past 2 years have given people a lot to think about for one reason or another, right? Whether kind of the window of life got slammed right in your face, or, maybe there was upheaval and, job insecurity, whatever. And you said, no, I have to make a fundamental change in my life to get things right. Across the board, people are making this choice. And it makes sense that it's filtered its way up to sports as well.
You're seeing a lot of clubs make different kinds of moves too. You're seeing a lot of loans with options/obligations.
Yep.
You're seeing moves like the Dele Alli move, which is an odd one the way it's constructed. Finally got the picture with Dele and agents and reps and all that, getting this thing done. Free transfer, contract through 24, 12 million euro after 20 games. And then the add-ons can go all the way up to 35 to 40 million.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have those kind of deals that long ago. You're having to get creative, I think, financially, but also players are more willing to say, you know what, this is where I want to go. Whatever we got to do, let's do it.
Yep.
The Aubameyang went to Barcelona. I mean, he's reportedly taken like hardly any salary compared to what he was making at Arsenal to be able to go there. Right. It's just you're seeing guys make moves that they want to make for their future, for their way of life, and you're seeing clubs getting creative at times to make deals happen.
But this is what we talked about, and the podcasts are out there. Find them and dig them up. Whenever it looked like, from a sporting perspective, the world was going to start trying to get back to normal. On this show, we talked about what the deals were going to look like going forward and how the days of 80, 90, 100 million euro transfers were going to be done for a while. And you were going to see player for player swaps. You were going to see, packaging almost like you do with the NBA.
Yeah, you finally had a swap with MLS and Liga MX with Tigres and Toronto, with Jefferson Soteldo going one way and Carlos Salcedo going the other way.
Exactly. And that's what we talked about back then, is that the teams are going to look and say, that player fits what we're trying to do better. That's a square peg in a round hole for your team. We have this player over here that works. What if we send you, but they're like, this player over here is about 2 years older, so why don't we send you this player and maybe, some cash for that player over there. Yep, let's work it out. And that way it's better for the books. It's better for everybody involved. Players are happy. The accountants are happy. And it's going to be interesting because, who's going to be the first to kind of start saying, yep, we'll chuck 100 million at this player here. And I think it's going to be probably this summer.
Real Madrid for Haaland.
Yeah.
That's the one, and that's already being reported in certain outlets in Germany that that's done. Holland.
Are they going to be the outlier?
Oh no, I'm sorry, sorry. I'm mixing up my rumors. Mbappe to Real Madrid is the one that is reportedly already done.
Yeah,
they'll announce it after the teams play in Champions League. Holland is actually being linked very, very heavily to Barcelona by lots of people. I don't know exactly how, but that's what everybody is saying so far. And all the talk about Erling, saying what he did after a game and being pressured and all that stuff, it really got quiet around that as everybody got distracted with the rest of the window.
But it's a different world now. And, is Real Madrid, going to be the outlier on this, or is it going to become kind of the norm again for these crazy transfers?
It'll be certain teams and it'll be certain players. Like, I mean, Haaland and Mbappe are potentially the next Ronaldo and Messi. Like, they're that kind of level. I get it. You're going to have premiums for them. It's not going to be as many players in that league, in that conversation with that amount. And it's not going to be as many clubs, I think, in that conversation either. Real Madrid, if you haven't been following some of the other stuff with La Liga, there's some really interesting things going on with Real Madrid. They are no dummies in terms of how they do business. They have reportedly done a deal with Legends Marketing that is going to pay them a boatload of money in terms of operating the Santiago Bernabeu. Huge revenues coming in. And when you look at how La Liga is structured with their cap, it's based off sustainability. It's not based off parity. That's why you have some teams that can spend a whole lot more than others. It's based off what they can actually afford to spend. Well, Real Madrid can already spend so much more than every other team in the league. If you get this deal on the books and you can show, well, okay, yeah, now we can actually spend even more, they're going to be able to do what they want, and they're going to be able to own that league for as long as they want. It's because of finding those other revenue streams. And that's going to be the challenge for the non-nation state-owned teams. It's going to be finding those other revenue streams. And you're going to see some go down the road of the NFTs, and you're going to see others go down the roads of these kinds of marketing deals. You're going to have to get somewhat creative in some of these situations. Doing a deal with Legends Marketing, which is one of the biggest sports marketing companies in the world, is not very creative. That's just smart business. Real Madrid's one of the biggest brands. But some of the others are going to have to figure that out. A Barcelona, to bridge that gap, is going to have to figure that out. That's going to be the next interesting story, I think, past the business recovery from COVID and getting fans back in the stands on a regular basis and bringing that revenue back and seeing where things settle. It's going to be, okay, who jumps out ahead of the curve to grow in a different way next? Right. Who's going to be that? I don't know. And that's going to be the fascinating storyline, I think.
What teams and what businesses can sit there and figure out how to work things in that extra dimension? And we're seeing that with Real Madrid with the marketing aspect and all of that. Who can go down that road? Who can go down the NFT road? Who can figure out other ways that haven't been tapped yet to market themselves, to try to recover and hit the other side of the post-pandemic economy before everybody else? And it's going to take some forward-thinking folks to sit there and figure out, okay, what can we do and how can we market it? And, I mean, Nick, it's going to be interesting to see who joins Real Madrid in ideas like what we just saw.
I think you're going to start seeing teams follow a Juve model that are non-nation state, where they say, hey, look, we have a parent company. Let's bring this entity, this club, directly underneath this parent company, so that way, because we can't compete with direct spend, but we can do things like move debt around and we can, reallocate resources if we bring this thing under our umbrella. It's a little more seamless that way. So don't be shocked if, the Glazers start bringing, Manchester United, directly more in line with some of their other business properties, and, some of the other clubs do the same. Because as rich as the Glazers are, which is mind-bendingly, cartoonishly rich, they're not, they're not royalty. They don't have a nation state backing them. And it's the same with with some of these other clubs like Liverpool and Chelsea's essentially a one man. I don't know. Maybe they are nation backed. I don't know. So there's going to be things that are they're going to have to be done to try to keep up with the Joneses. And before too long, you might start hearing some people go, maybe Super League was good to get them out of here. We should have, they should rethink the Super League. They'll be shocked if
said
in
that
a couple
for a
of
while.
Years,
Yeah. You're gonna see something along those lines. If it's not a Super League, it's gonna be UEFA doing it themselves.
Yep.
Like you're gonna figure that out because there's just money to be made.
There's money to be made.
Some other bits of news and rumor and such. Xavi, Laporta, and Alemany, the I think financial guy at Barcelona, are going to meet tomorrow to decide what to do with Mr. Dembele since nothing happened with him today. He was linked to PSG at the beginning of the morning. He was linked with Chelsea at some point during the day. He was linked everywhere pretty much, except for Wuhan, which is going to get Alejandro Pozuelo. Don't you worry. Xavi is not in favor of leaving him in the stands the rest of the season, probably because he'd like to have that extra bit of talent. I think the club is definitely in favor of leaving him in the stands because he's kind of messed up what they could actually add in this window, and he won't sign a new deal. He's out of contract in the summer, so it's tricky. But Brendan mentioned it before, and Dembele, I think, is a unique case. Let's leave him to the side. Another element to the change in the way that business is being done right now is players are more willing to ride out their contracts and then choose where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Agents are more willing to recommend that because then they'll get a fee a lot of times instead of a transfer fee. Hey, we'll funnel this guy to you. You pay us $1 million off the top. Pay us whatever. That kind of stuff is going down. So you're seeing more of that, and clubs have to adjust to that and handle that and figure those things out too. But I've always wondered why more players didn't do that. And now I think they're starting to take more control over their futures. It's a smart move from the player perspective.
Oh, it is. It's I think there was ego involved. Like I'm an 80 million euro player. Well, I'm a 90 million euro.
So many people would feel like, and maybe that's why we had the conversation earlier about Bello. Maybe that's why people get hung up on how much it is. Oh, he's not as good as we thought he was. No, it's just a fee. It doesn't mean he's good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, how much did Dele Alli go for again?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. All right. So George Bello went for a fee?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so George Bello's better than Dele Alli?
Yes. Yes.
That is property.
Yes.
I mean, if that's how we're tracking it, look, it's you can't gauge player talent just off of transfer fees.
No.
And so, and as we've just discussed, sometimes the player's going to make a move that they want to make because it makes them happy. And you only have, I'm going to go on a minor soapbox here and then we can get into picks. Look, you only have so much damn time to do what you want to do. And I think that's what a lot of people during this pandemic have figured out. When they saw people who were in the prime of their lives in the hospital and then gone out of nowhere, it made them go, okay, do I really want to be corporate gerbil doing X, Y, and Z at a job that I really don't like? Or, do I want to be waiting tables getting yelled at? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? No. Maybe I start investing with myself. And I think the one thing that COVID has shown a lot of people is the cavalry is not coming. There's no one who's coming to rescue you from your bad job situation or any of that. You have to invest in yourself to get it done, and you have to make some changes, maybe with your ego and how you interpret things to get to where you want to go. And I think that's what's happening globally right now. People are making different choices because they say, you know what, I may not be a multi-millionaire. That's fine. But if I'm cash secured and I'm happy and I'm doing things I want to do, like travel, see the world, or I don't know, spend more time with my kids or my friends or whatever the hell's important to you, I think that's what I'm just going to kind of start doing. And it's almost like the movie Office Space for those, of us who are in our 30s and 40s and higher. at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, the protagonist finds out that he's happiest not working in an office cubicle, forgetting to put cover sheets on his TPS report, and instead he's doing construction and road work and things like that, and he's happy as can be. I think a lot of people are coming to that same conclusion. Yeah. And so the cavalry's not coming. If you have been debating making an investment in yourself, now is the time. It's okay to fail. It's okay. It's okay to do a lot of things. It's not okay not to try. So I think a lot of players are figuring this out. If you're listening to this, there's your marching orders. Have at it. Okay, picks of the week, baby. As the reigning champion, before I get dethroned, I can say these things.
We're not quite there yet. We got to talk a little World Cup qualifiers. And Sean Vergara is arguing about technicalities on the Twitch pitch. No, technically, Sean, Dele Alli did go for free. The add-ons are add-ons if he gets them. If Dele Alli doesn't play, let's say he tears his ACL in training tomorrow, it's free. Nada. Nothing gets paid. Nothing.
Now,
it could be up to $40 million. But if he doesn't have an ACL tomorrow, then it's not. He might not play 20 games, Sean. You don't know that. He went for zero. Zero.
As my senior DI from the Dominican Republic used to say, zero.
Technicality.
You better not be moving. When he finishes that, you better not be moving.
Oh, boy. No updates, no news on Thiago Almada, Airborne DJ, nothing there. It's all we know at this point is the club still has the exclusive option to do that deal if they want to do that deal. That's what we know. And nothing has been updated on anything else. It's a very complicated if you want to go back to the very beginning of all that and read some of the reports, as I went through some of the old newspaper articles, the thing was a lot more confusing at the beginning than maybe you might remember. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That thing's been lingering for over a year now. At some point, something's got to happen, I would assume. And yes, my I-17, as long as Dele Alli doesn't have a wedding ring on his ACL, I don't think we'll have to worry about it being hurt.
True.
I don't know. We've seen people do their ACL in training before.
Big wedding band.
Well,
just saying. And he won't get paid the season. That's right, Airborne DJ coming in with the save. There's only 18 games left in the season.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's right. Jared Smith is joining us.
Huh?
What's up, Jared?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. We haven't gotten to picks of the week yet, so you're just gonna have to hang out.
That's fine. I'm still yelling about everyone decided that I'm so mad that what's his face is Aaron Ramsey is like the move of the year.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
It can't be the move of the year if it can't be the move of the year, y'all. If Juventus is giving him away and paying his salary.
Yeah, they paid to move him. They're paying to send the movers to his house.
Yes.
First off, Juve gave him $400,000 a week.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
The hell you say?
It was pre-COVID days. Juve was drunk.
Was?
I think they sobered up a little bit. I think
they just
nearly going
they were
broke.
Icarus. They were Icarus. They tried to fly as high as they could, baby, and those wings just went.
Mm-hmm. They've sobered up some.
Yeah, you say so. Anyway, I'm sorry, I crashed this party. Where were you going?
We're going to World Cup qualifiers because we got to talk about the world scene here really quick. I'm wearing my Ecuador shirt out of solidarity for them getting robbed by the VAR in CONMEBOL, who went to the screen 5 times looking for things very, very difficult. Alisson commits 2 potential red card fouls, doesn't get sent off. Absolutely absurd.
What was the score in that game again?
It was 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a joke. Garbage. Crap. Anyway, tomorrow, to lay the scene out for this week for World Cup qualifiers. Tomorrow, you got games in CONMEBOL. Right now, where the table stands in South America, it's gotten a little more complicated. Brazil and Argentina are through. They got a game that they're never going to play.
Nope.
Ecuador is third. They're on 24 points. They should be okay, but they go to Peru, which will get very, very interesting because right now Peru, with their win in Barranquilla over Colombia, Peru is in the automatic qualification spot on 20 in 4th. Uruguay winning Diego Alonso's first game in Asunción over Paraguay. Uruguay is in the playoff spot on 19. You could have right now, if things go the way we think, Uruguay and Australia in a one-game playoff to go to the World Cup. There will be blood for sure.
There will be blood.
Mm-hmm. Sixth place, Colombia, 2 points out of the playoff spot. Chile is 3 points out of the playoff spot in seventh. Venezuela trying to ruin the hopes and dreams of Bolivia. Bolivia is 4 points out of the playoff spot with 3 games to play. They're on 15. Paraguay's on 13. Venezuela's on 10. Adios. That game, the playoff games.
Feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, after they got the win with Jose Peckerman's debut, absolutely. They looked really good against Bolivia. The playoff games, the interconfederational ones, it'll be CONCACAF against Oceania, and it'll be South America against Asia. Those will be played in Qatar in the June window. Just one game. It's not home and away like it used to be. It's one game playoffs in Qatar in the June window. So in South America, tomorrow, you got 5 games. There's 3 games left for everybody except for Brazil and Argentina, who have a game they're never going to play. Bolivia hosts Chile. That one, Bolivia is favored. They're plus 145. Chile's plus 188. Draws plus 230. If Bolivia wins, they get to 18. They're going to need a lot of help to be in a good spot going into the last 2 games. I think losing in Venezuela is what's probably going to do them in. Chile's got 1 point ahead of them. If Chile can go to Bolivia and win, then they're still going to be in the mix. I think both are probably too far gone. Uruguay hosts Venezuela. Uruguay should win that. They are favored heavily, minus 133. They should, with a win, go to 22 points. Okay. Then you've got Argentina hosting Colombia. Argentina's through, no Messi. You got a bunch of guys missing due to injuries and suspensions. Argentina's a big favorite, minus 110 in that one. They would probably like to ruin Colombia's day. Yes. If you go back to one of the most legendary games in South America when Colombia came into Buenos Aires and beat Argentina 5-0 going into the 94 World Cup, that sent Argentina into a playoff with Australia. It brought Diego Maradona out of whatever retirement situation he was in at that time. He was watching from the stands, and he then went to some farm and got fit and came back to play in the Australia series, and maybe
there
took some things that might have led to him.
Somewhere.
No, there is. I've seen it. They did like 10 hours of Maradona footage of stuff on TIC, Jarrett. They have footage of everything, okay?
Does it have like the Rocky montage?
There's a Rocky montage.
He's, if I remember right, it is basically a Rocky montage with him in a Michael Jordan Dream Team jersey running through the farmland in northern Argentina.
Oh, that's amazing.
Him just tenderizing Argentine beef sides.
And I didn't see that. They didn't show whatever substances he was taking that might have had a hand in him not being part of the 94 World Cup after a couple of games. But anyway, I digress. Brazil hosts Paraguay. I think Paraguay's done. Sorry, Guillermo Barros Escaloto. And the game of the night tomorrow in South America is Peru hosting Ecuador. That's 3 versus 4. And if you expect Uruguay to get to 22, they could pass Peru. If they don't get a win, that drop Peru into the qualification or the playoff spot, and it put some extra pressure on Ecuador in the final 2 games. That game is the must watch. That is a 9:00 kicking. Watch it on Fubo TV. Asia's pretty well sorted out. It's not completely determined at this point. Iran is already in. They have clinched their spot. Scroll past the qualification part of it. Iran is in. South Korea is all but in Group A. Pretty much done and dusted. The spot is to get into the Asian playoff. The third place teams in their final 2 groups play in a playoff against one another to go to the interconfederational playoff. There's a test later. UAE has a 4-point cushion over Lebanon. Actually, this is the last game. No, it's not the last game. UAE is in good shape, but they don't have it nailed down. Lebanon's got an opportunity to pass them, but they've lost 3 in a row. The other group, Saudi Arabia, is all but in. Japan's on 15 points with 3 games to play. Australia's on 14. Whoever finishes ahead of the other one automatically goes to the World Cup. The other one goes into the Asian playoff to the opportunity to go into the Interconfederational playoff to play the 5th place team from South America. That's a brutal road for either Japan or Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both in that situation. Japan hosts Saudi Arabia tomorrow. Australia goes to Oman. Australia and Japan play in the first game in the March window in Australia. That will be a must-watch. But Australia or Japan potentially going into that playoff game is wild. CONCACAF final games are on Wednesday. We'll be talking a lot about those as we get up to it. U.S. is going to be missing Tyler Adams in that game. Not a good situation. Jamaica hosting Costa Rica. Costa Rica really needs a win to stay alive. El Salvador hosting
Costa Rica
Canada.
pretty much has to win out, yeah?
Not quite. They can maybe slip once, but they're going to need Mexico to beat Panama tomorrow night, Wednesday night, which is not a guarantee. Panama's in Mexico, and they got to go to the U.S. So, I mean, Panama's got 2 of the toughest road games left. So, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. El Salvador
seems like
Canada.
the toughest road game.
I said 2 of the toughest, Jarrett. Relax, calm down. I already said this morning that Canada are the overlords of CONCACAF. There's no question about it anymore. But Panama goes to the U.S. and Mexico.
God rest Gord Dowdy. Shame you didn't see this.
I know.
Was he a soccer fan? I don't know.
His godfather was Harry Sinden, who is the longtime GM of the Boston Bruins. I don't know if he was a soccer fan. I know
I was about to say, do the Boston Bruins?
Boston Bruins don't play soccer.
Do they play soccer? Did I miss that? Okay.
Hey,
anyway,
Lucien,
I don't know. I've seen a couple of skates deflecting into the net.
That is true.
Yeah, and lost Chris Richards. The U.S. don't have Chris Richards in this game as well.
True.
I think that one's a little bit easier to deal with. Adams is going to be harder to replace. That's why I mentioned him. Canada goes to El Salvador on Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. That could be a little interesting. Go, Hugo Perez. Go, Hugo Perez.
Exactly.
Please. All right. Picks of the week? Unless there are more World Cup qualifying talk to have.
Oh, I'm just thinking about if Panama takes 3 points off of Mexico and the chaos that ensues.
Ooh.
Tata Martino getting fired, if that's the case.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
If Panama goes to the Estadio Azteca,
Tata Martino's getting turbo fired.
Tata's fired. Tata
I have
might
a
not
point
have
of order. Point of order here.
You have a point of order. Go ahead.
Point of order. I am requesting that anyone associated with the decision to play the U.S. game in Minnesota, they can't be in a booth. They have to be field level.
Absolutely.
They must be field level. If you were that titanically stupid,
no, it stands because the field's got heating underneath it, but the field has heating.
Accurate. Yes, you need to be in the top row.
That's true. So you get standard seating. Yep. Top row where the wind's hitting you. Yep. And you must stay there. It's a condition of your employment. You must stay there for the whole game.
Yep. I can support this.
And you don't get access to cheese curds and beer.
No.
You see, when I put my mock together, I had them playing these games in Chicago against tough teams because the idea of Chicago wasn't as like the Revenant-esque as Minneapolis. It's cold but tolerable, but the potential for lake effect snow inconveniences people. Minnesota is the Revenant.
Yeah, we'll have DiCaprio bring the match ball out for the game at Allianz.
And for those who've never been up there for that, one of my best friends lives in Minneapolis, and because I'm stupid like this, I said I want to go up in the middle of winter because I've never experienced that kind of cold before, and I like new experiences, so let's go.
I don't like that experience.
And
Nick just wanted to experience the exact opposite of the Middle East.
Yeah. So and so my buddy says, "Yeah, whatever, man. Have fun. Let's go." So we go up there. We're hanging out, and during the day it was about -4 outside, and honestly, -4 was tolerable. But at night, when the wind picks up and it got down to like -15, it's the coldest I've ever been in my life. The wind cut through every layer of clothing that I had. And even my buddy was like, we're getting back in the car. Like he was trying to show us some like ice sculptures that they had. And he's like, no, we're getting back in the car. We're done. If you, and I'm telling you, if you have access to the people who made this decision, put them at the top level and make them sit through. Because if you're making those players go out and play in this crap because you decided to get cute, then your ass gets to sit in the top level, and you have to enjoy that full time for. And I hope it goes extra time for your sake.
This is the situation that you have created. Therefore, you must be a part of it.
Yes. Yeah. And
you would have to hope for CONCACAF-iness in like 10 minutes of stoppage time.
Great.
It isn't CONCACAF, so that's accurate.
And I'm not going to wish that on. And I'm not going to wish that on anyone, because who's going to really suffer in this game? It's the people who do my job, running the cameras.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're going to be up there exposed. Yeah. You're going to be up there exposed to the winds and the elements, and you can't
put the U.S. soccer folks in the high camera position.
Oh, yeah.
And have them be grips and PAs for the camera and the crew.
John, you've covered some Grey Cups, yes?
Yes, I have. I've covered 2.
All right. So for those who are uninitiated, the Grey Cup is played typically when?
Thanksgiving weekend. It is the Canadian Football League version of the Super Bowl.
All right. And what is the coldest that it's been when you covered a Grey Cup?
It was -10 in Edmonton, and we had to stand outside on the field for the final 2 minutes of regulation before they would let us into the field house where you get set up and get set up to get your coaches' interviews and your players' interviews. You're standing outside. They don't let you into the field house.
Right.
You're in the end zone, and think of the last handful of minutes in a college basketball game that's like an 8-point margin.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was.
It took forever.
Yes, and so the 2-minute warning, the 3-minute warning, really, 3-minute warning and beyond, took about as much as it does for your average game in college basketball that's just out of reach, and you're standing in the end zone, you're standing outside the end zone and outside the field house.
Mm-hmm.
The second that they let you into the field house, the camera lenses on all of the remote cameras and all the TV crews instantly fogged up. Instantly fogged up. So you've got virtually no sound from the coach interviews because the coach gets in there, the losing coach goes first, and your lens has not adjusted to the field house. So literally it was worthless. Yeah.
You're almost better off keeping it bagged.
Yes, exactly. So no, it is an experience that unless you have to be in it, I don't recommend it unless you really, really are a glutton for that kind of stuff.
Oh, we're doing it together one year, just so you know.
See, I'm dumb like that. Let's go.
Y'all have fun.
Shania Twain was the halftime entertainment, by the way, in Edmonton.
Y'all have fun. I want no part of this. This is ridiculous.
I've done mine. I'm good.
All right, Nick.
Give me the game in Toronto at the Sky Dome, and I'm good. That'll
go.
work. BC Place. I'm there. Nope.
Oh, we're going to end up in it's going to be like Blue Bombers hosting it. We're going to
be
end
in
up in
Winnipeg. Exactly.
Give it to me.
We'll be in Winnipeg hosting it. That is not recommended, sir. And actually, story time with John real quick before we get into picks of the week.
Didn't we just have that?
Well, I actually had Lawrence Phillips yell at me in the post game in the locker room when we were getting interviews. And Lawrence Phillips had gone to Canada to try to reclaim his professional football career, wins a Grey Cup as Montreal wins, and he and his offensive linemen have lockers in the corner of the locker room, and they're yelling at all of us TV folks, how the bleep you like us now? How the bleep you bleeping like us now? We want a bleeping title. And somewhere in my stacks, I have one of Lawrence Phillips's gloves that he wore in that Grey Cup. But yeah, Lawrence Phillips yelled at all of us TV folks when we got into the locker room.
Is that the Alouettes?
That is correct, sir. It was the Alouettes.
Yeah,
it was
Montreal
not the
Alouettes.
It was not the Concorde. They had rebranded back to the Alouettes, and Lawrence Phillips yelled at all of us.
All right, let's do picks of the week.
All right.
Yeah, let's just do that. This is a rabbit hole. Let's just keep going.
It is.
Ricky's already saying he has to check on his son in 10 minutes, so he's yelling.
All right.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's go.
Picks of the week starting now. Tuesday, St. Mirren hosted Aberdeen. Nick picked a draw. Jarrett didn't pick. Jarrett, you can't even speak during this segment. You had no picks. I picked, John picked, Twitch Pitch picked Aberdeen to win. St. Mirren won. It continues the trend of us all missing the first game of the week. Wednesday, Ivory Coast and Egypt. Nick and the Twitch pitch picked the Ivory Coast to win. John and I picked the 90-minute draw. We were correct. We went to 190 for the week. Nick and the Twitch pitch minus 200. Ecuador hosted Brazil on Thursday. Ecuador was completely and utterly robbed. I got robbed in this scenario. Brazil was picked by John. He was wrong. And Nick and the Twitch pitch picked a draw, so they moved to 120. John and I fell to 90. Friday, Forest Rangers hosted the Power Dynamos. Finished in a scoreless draw, a scintillating match in Zambia. John was the only one who picked the draw. He got it correct. Yeah. He went to 378 because the draw was plus 188. I fell to minus 10, the Twitch pitch, and Nick went to 20. Saturday, Millonarios hosted Atlético Nacional. Nick and the Twitch pitch picked Millonarios. I picked the draw. Atlético Nacional at plus 275 won, and that was John again. He went to 753 for the week. Sunday.
Good Lord, John, you made picks and it paid off.
Canada hosted the U.S. Well, you got a draw that came out too. Canada hosted the U.S. on Sunday. Nick was the only one to pick Canada. They were plus 180. He got that right. That moved him to 200. The prop bet was shots in that game. It was 21 shots combined. The Twitch pitch was the closest without going over with 14 as their selection. So the order is Jared is last because he did not play.
Minus 600.
No, he didn't pick anything. He's just last because he didn't participate. I was minus 210. Twitch pitch with their prop bet got to minus 80. Nick finished at 200, and John finished at 653. John Nelson is your winner for the week.
Woo! Okay, so Nick,
I'm so happy that I just want to say, John, I'm going to rain on your parade. I'm so happy that the Brazil game wasn't the deciding factor. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go.
Garbage, nonsense, crap.
All right, so Nick, clarification for the calendar. You are not with us because.
All right, whoa! We're not getting into reasons. I'm not going to be here.
Okay, so you're not going to be here for a while.
See.
I'm deferring my promo to you, sir.
No, there's no. Negative,
you can't hand it over.
Nope. Nope. Negative Ghost Rider. It is your
garbage.
promo.
I was trying to be nice.
No.
Just rehash the Lawrence Phillips thing and call it a day, man.
I reject your act of kindness and instead defer back to you, good sir. You have the floor.
Okay, fine. Sometimes when you wander into a locker room, folks are not the kindest. Sometimes you have men who are 280 to 340 pounds who try to give you a hard time for no inherent reason whatsoever other than to sit there and you've got a microphone in your hand and you perhaps have wronged them when you never have.
That could have went really sideways fast.
Sometimes to wander into a field house in minus 10-degree weather and your lens fogs up. Sometimes you get the soundbite that you're looking for when you least expect it. And that's what we had here. I know that and I know that a lot of us here on the show firmly anticipate that I, yours truly, will be at the bottom of the barrel most weeks because of a four-letter word that starts with D, ends in W, and has a lot to do with magic markers, except on this show in the last half hour.
No, they think you're going to finish last because you always say you're going to finish last. Continue.
So what happened this week? I sprinkled a little bit of that D word in, sprinkled a little bit of the W word in, associated with the word outright after the W word. See what happens when you get a little variety. Sometimes you wander in, your lens gets fogged up. Sometimes you wander in, you get yelled at, and you get expletives, very choice expletives yelled at you. Variety is the slice of life, folks. The spice of life.
John.
Slice of life?
John.
And that's what you got here. You got the
John.
You got the spice of life and the slice of life.
Oh, stop him now. He's on a roll.
John, how many correct picks did you get?
Like when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor, this is what we had this week.
John, how many correct picks did you get?
I don't care. I won, and that's what matters.
You won, John.
It's looking at the number and going, I'm going to take that risk. and I'm going to go, that's a big number on the board. That's going to make or break me. And this past week, what did it
John.
do? It made me. I'm the top of the ladder this week, brother. And that's what matters.
John, stop lying. 2 of those, you didn't know what the numbers were. First off. Second, your idea about the what was it, the slice of life? Is that what it was? The slice of life. You got 2 draws correct. You got 1 other result correct.
As I said, sometimes it's about using the W word, followed by the word outright.
Oh, it's amazing.
No. None of that.
You could put 15 chimpanzees in a room for 50 years with typewriters, and they're not coming up with that.
No, they're not.
Thank God.
Oh my God, it's wonderful.
John, was that the year that the doors to the field house were frozen on the inside?
Let's see. I mean, this was at Commonwealth
keep reading
Stadium in Edmonton, and I'm trying to remember.
Oh, that's glorious.
I think that there was a bit of waiting by the security force, now that I come to think of it. That they
I just remember you telling me there was like frost on the inside of the doors, the locker room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was probably, I thought it was probably Edmonton, yeah. It was either Edmonton or Calgary.
Hellscape.
Yeah, it was. Both of them were. I mean, Calgary was at McMahon Stadium, and that was okay. But when you're shooting stand-ups on one of the large hills that oversees the entire city and you're freezing your you-know-what off, Edmonton was a lot colder than Calgary was. I was actually dressed decently for Calgary, but Edmonton, not an experience I recommend, especially being yelled at by Lawrence Phillips.
Okay. You done?
We got picks of the week.
We do. You have 2 selections. You have a veto.
I do.
The Twitch
so wrong.
The Jarrett, you had a hand in this. Twitch pitch has Sunday.
That is true.
And that's what we know. So let's jump into this. Tuesday, we got South American World Cup qualifiers. We have Asian World Cup qualifiers. We have the Scottish Premiership. South America, you got Peru and Ecuador, which we talked about. You got Argentina, Colombia. Those are the big primary ones. Bolivia, Chile is always a weird one. Asia, you've got Japan and Saudi Arabia, which is a huge game. In Scotland, you got Aberdeen at Ross County. You've got the Battle of Dundee FC hosting Dundee United. Beyond that, you have Millwall hosting Preston North End. You've got MacArthur hosting Western United in the A-League.
That's an early kick.
You've got Bolton hosting Cambridge United in League One.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
You've got Port Vale hosting the Forest Green Rovers. It was yesterday. It was a story, Jared. Please, just smile and nod. Just please smile and nod. You got the second division in Colombia, Real Cartagena and Fortaleza. The Cyprus Cup. Ammonia is hosting a team with, it starts with an X.
Ammonia.
Xylo Timbu, 2006.
Oh, wow.
You got Kidderminster Harriers hosting Leamington in the Northern
Jesus
League.
Christ, just take the Aberdeen game. You're going too deep.
Well,
I'll burn down the Aberdeen Ross County game to get you to stop.
Let's
You
go
can pick
someone
something,
else to
Jared.
do it.
Pick something. There's
Peru-
nothing else.
I was waiting for Wednesday. But
Peru-
you know what? I'll just give me
Peru-
Aberdeen.
John
Ross
says
County.
Peru, Ecuador.
Peru, Ecuador.
He wins.
He can't veto himself. Somebody's got to pick something. Man,
Peru, Ecuador.
Glorious.
good grief.
I was
Peru and
waiting for the old firm.
Well, then you could have kept waiting, and I would have kept trying to find more games for somebody to pick something.
I was just, you know what? I was just trying to mercy kill this thing off. All right.
Jared, have you ever participated in the picks of the week before? It's gonna get.
I'm trying to live a better life.
Jared, this is Tuesday. It's gonna get really weird. All right, Peru is a plus 125. Stop trying. Draw is a plus 210. Ecuador is a plus 225. Peru's in fourth in the table. Ecuador's in third. Last time these teams played was a 2-2 draw in Quito. last time they played in Lima in a friendly was 2019. Ecuador won that. The time they played in Lima before that was 2018, and Ecuador won that one too. Peru won. Oh, I'm sorry. The last game they played with 2-2 draw was in Copa America. My bad. The last time they played in Quito, Peru won that 2-1. That was in August or June 8th, right before the Copa America. Okay, Ecuador comes in official matches, qualifiers, not friendlies, with 3 straight without a loss, back-to-back, 4 straight without a loss. 2 wins, 2 draws. Peru comes into this, win their last time out in Barranquilla, win in Venezuela, win at home over Bolivia, and they lost 2 in a row before that. So they've won 3 in a row in official matches. Jarrett, you're up first.
Yeah. I'm going to blame the shirt for why I'm just going to choose Ecuador.
You should blame good taste. I am also picking Ecuador, obviously.
Hey, man, Ecuador's gotten the SDH bump.
Ecuador has theme songs by an incredible musical performer for so many of their players, and I'm jealous. So Ecuador wins because of that. Nick.
I think I'm going to say Peru.
Okay. They're the favorite by a pretty large margin. Hold on. John?
No, as will I. I'm going Peru.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
And apparently we have a ratified
Ecuador's goalkeeper is not going to have a nightmare at the near post.
Well, Ecuador's goalkeeper that started the last time out is red carded because he tried to decapitate Cunha from Brazil and left about 5 cleat marks across his neck and chest region.
Oh, yeah. He looked like Siegfried or Roy, whichever one it was, got mauled by the tiger.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what the dude looked like on the back.
He did.
One way to put it, but
that
it's not necessarily wrong.
No.
Jeez. Okay. I
don't know what Nick is drinking, but I promise it's not hard enough for what he's going to have to deal with.
Okay. Wednesday.
Garrett, you just want to go ahead and call Old Firm?
Are you calling Celtic and Rangers,
yeah.
Jared, or do you want to hear the other choices?
No, I don't want to hear the other choices. I want to listen.
John, are you going to veto it?
Oh, no, it's Old Firm. I'm not vetoing that.
I would veto it out of principle, but anyway. Celtic and Rangers.
Win picks of the week, and you can win picks of the week. You can veto.
Jared, when was the last time you won? Like, seriously? You can't like opt out and then come in talking trash like that. Come on.
Oh, here comes
like Randy Orton showing up at the end of the Rumble.
I've got
when
the
Randy Orton slides out into the ring.
So I mean, whatever. Anyway, the referees will try to figure out how to
the Rumble and slides out and shows up.
Yeah.
The referees will try to figure out how to screw Celtic
no matter
and
who
Rangers
wins, the losing team's going to complain.
They'll probably go and picket the Scottish FA, and they'll have 27 different reasons why they got screwed. But Celtic is the favorite, plus 115. They are hosting. Draws 225. Rangers 260. Last time they played, it was Rangers hosting. They won 1-0. Time before that, in May, was Rangers hosting. They won 4-1. Celtic comes into this since the break. I guess there's really no point going too far back. Celtics won 4 in a row since coming back. They have conceded 2 goals in 4 games. 2-0, 2-1, 2-1, and 1-0. So they're not blowing people out, but they haven't conceded very much. Rangers, since coming back from the break, 2 wins and 2 draws, including Scottish Cup action. They have conceded 4 goals, 3 of them at Ross County over the weekend in a bat-ish crazy game that they ended up drawing. That's what they come into this with. So I'm up first. Jared, I don't know if I believe in your boys. I like your team a lot better than I like Rangers these days.
Mm-hmm. But hey,
the night and day from Neil Lennon to Big Edge
it's whiplash.
Just rippling.
Yeah, it's whiplash. You're going to concuss yourself trying to figure that out. I am gonna let's see.
Oof.
I am gonna go with a draw because I think Rangers working the referees and the FA was not so much about Aberdeen as it was about this one.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna get something bogus, and it's gonna end up in a draw. Nick.
I'm going to follow you on that draw.
Okay. John.
As am I.
Damn it.
I mean, we've all picked it, but I still have to hit it.
Is anybody surprised about what happened?
No.
Nope.
Jarrett.
This is where Jarrett makes his move.
Well, he's got to get it right. You're not making moves by making the picks. You have to get the picks correct. Is Celtic going to win, Jarrett?
Don't think so. They're missing too many people.
Are they going to lose?
I don't think so. They're missing.
I think so.
Oh, wow.
You're picking Rangers.
Wow.
I like it.
Wow.
Jarrett just picked against Celtic?
He's not gambling with his heart. He's a smart man.
I think he's overthinking it.
I think
Kyogo's not playing. Callum McGregor is the midfield operates because Callum McGregor has filled the Scott Brown void better than anyone thought he possibly could. Meanwhile, Scott Brown apparently got a new heart when he was in Aberdeen because the dude's running like he's 10 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it is just might come. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's going to come down to dark magic or questionable calls. I just think Rangers finds a way to win this because even the close games they've had for the last years, Rangers have found a way, whether it's an own goal or a penalty or they have found one little something that Celtic haven't. However, I think this is the last one for a while. I think that after the split, I think you'll see Celtic if they got there. Aaron Ramsey's not going to. Dude, Diallo's got a better chance to tip of the tide.
Who made a smart move?
Oh yeah, Jarrett. He wants to go to England. No one in England's going to take on
Jarrett.
No one's going. Oh, I thought you were Aaron Ramsey.
Jarrett did not make a smart move. No.
Because he's not gambling with his heart. He's gambling with facts and figures.
No. He's gambling with something else.
God.
He's gambling with something else because Thomas on the Twitch pitch nailed it. Jarrett just went full Falcons fan. He went so far against this is my team, I'm picking my team, that he's talked himself into the other side of it. That's what he did. And I know Jarrett well enough to nail that prediction on him. That's what you did.
No, I think Celtic's missing enough people
Thank you, Jarrett.
that will sway it. And that when they play after the split, if Celtic goes into the games after the split healthy, they're going to be Rangers.
Don't
because
let this surly gentleman
despite when Gerard left Rangers, they were in a phase where they were winning games, but they weren't convincing about it. Go back and watch the way they played Aberdeen the last 2 times they played them. Go back and watch the Ross County game. When Gio comes in and starts running that team, they go back to 2021, early 2021 version Rangers. They're blowing people off the field, playing real well. And now they've started sliding back into that malaise a bit of, they're getting results, but it's not really convincing. And if you really want to look at the advanced metrics, which only tell you so much, I'm not going to tell you to base your entire life off the advanced metrics. Rangers have spent most of the year outperforming a lot of what their metrics say they should be at.
But
this game is huge because the table is separated by 2 points. I know. I'm picking Rangers because Celtic's not at full strength.
Thank you.
I think if Celtic was at full strength, Celtic wins it.
I
think it's a matter of being full strength.
Celtic replace it with Falcons. You could take Rangers, replace it with Saints, and that would be your conversation.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would. He's had that conversation with me before.
Jarrett,
yeah, and in this case, I think it's the accurate one. I think it's injuries.
Jarrett, do not let Silky Johnson over here talk you out of your pick. Like, hey.
What is he, a third-string wide receiver in the 1960s?
Silky Johnson from the Player Haters Ball in Chappelle.
You played for Van Brock?
Play in the XFL.
I hate you, and I don't even know you, but I hate you. I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and only you, and nobody but you.
I know Jarrett. I know what he's doing to
Hey,
himself.
hey.
I know.
If you will excuse me.
But you know what? I will watch that game with a clear with clear heart, clear eyes. Like I will. I hope they win. I just especially without Callum McGregor in the midfield, I am nervous.
We will see how it goes. Thursday.
Also, this Greek striker they brought in from the Dutch league, like, does not find his ass with both hands on a map.
That's not good.
Mm-mm.
That sounds potentially painful. All right, Thursday. We got knockout stages in AFCON, Cameroon and Egypt. That's a big game. We got Club World Cup underway in the early stages of it. Al Jazeera and AS Pire. We got Copa del Rey, Real Sociedad and Real Betis, Athletic Club and Real Madrid. Real Madrid is going to be missing some people due to South American World Cup qualifiers. We got Colombian action, Atlético Nacional and Tolima. We have Costa Rican action with Cartagenes and San Jose. We've got Newcastle Jets and Brisbane Roar.
That's got to be 3 a.m.
That's 3:45 actually. We have the Paulista League in Brazil, Red Bull Bragantino and Sao Paulo. It's actually an interesting game in the state league. We got Mumbai City hosting Mohun Bagan in the Indian Super League.
Give me Cameroon, Egypt.
You want Cameroon and Egypt. John, you going to allow that?
Yeah.
Okay. I got to ask. You have the veto. I'm not going to start writing it down and then you yell veto like 20 minutes later like you do on some of these gimmicks.
You mean like Nick did with the Twitch pitch?
No, he did it like 5 seconds.
No, the Twitch pitch did it to Nick, right?
Well, they got mad because
they're back and forth with their hatred.
Yeah,
they picked Gerbil FC. They wanted a game from like Gerbil FC.
I think it was Squirrel.
And I did the full Thanos like dreaded run from it. Destiny Still Arrives and snapped right in the camera and said veto. And they took it personally. And then they waited for me to make my pick, which I made first, and they immediately vetoed it, burning their veto, and thus allowing John to pick like 8th Division England.
Yes.
And we all learned a valuable lesson that day.
Yes. Do not burn your preemptive veto immediately.
This is the most dangerous part about John winning a week, though. What awaits us on the horizon. It cannot be understood.
Indeed.
Anyway. I just remember how stupid that game was that John picked. Cameroon plus 115, draw plus 175. That's a 90-minute draw. Egypt plus 333. The matches between these two, they have not played since 2017 in AFCON, where Cameroon won 2-1. They played in 2010 in AFCON. Egypt won that 3-1. So not much history between them. Cameroon has not exactly been lighting it up in this tournament that they are hosting. They beat Comoros with a defender playing goalkeeper and a 6th-minute red card 2-1.
Yep.
They beat Gambia 2-0. That was decent. They tied with Cabo Verde in the last game of the group stage. And Egypt has not exactly been convincing in this tournament either. They lost the first game to Nigeria. They have won 4 in a row. They've won technically 3 out of their last 4. They drew with the Ivory Coast 0-0. It went to penalties. They beat Guinea-Bissau 1-0. They beat Sudan 1-0. They needed extra time to beat Morocco 2-1. So 2 teams, powerhouses, not exactly lighting it up. And this is the semi-final. Nick, make your pick.
Where are we playing this again?
Cameroon's hosting the tournament.
Oh, good. Cameroon.
Nick picks Cameroon.
Oh, my boy.
John.
We're related. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Sorry. John?
90-minute draw.
Is anybody surprised about what happened?
No.
No?
Jarrett.
It's in Cameroon. Something dodgy is going to happen.
Yes.
or something dodgy is not going to happen, or it's going to be dodgy for something not happening. Like,
there
I don't
you go,
know,
twisting yourself into a mental pretzel again.
There it is.
A certain Egyptian forward goes down in the box with a legitimate foul. And damn, that's a damn shame no one saw it.
Yes, exactly.
It's going to be a 90-minute draw. I think Cameroon ends up winning it, but it's not going to go well, I don't think. I think it's going to be not so much fun to watch.
Egypt's going to get 2 red cards, and Cameroon's walking out of there the winner. Normal time.
It's possible. It's possible, but Cameroon struggled against Comoros, so I think they might need even more help than that against Egypt.
There's going to be every laser pointer on planet Earth is going to be in that stadium.
It's possible. All right, so we've got I've got a pick left, John's got a pick, and then Twitch Pitch on Sunday. It's Friday. Yeah, he's going to wait. He thinks he's funny.
Friday. There you go.
Yeah, anyway. La Liga, Getafe, and Levante. I hope that gets retired at some point. Bundesliga, Hertha, and
I would like to motion that when John wins a week, we don't give him 2 picks and a veto. He still gets 1 pick and no veto, but he gets allowed to do that. Otherwise,
he does it anyway, Jared.
Oh,
take it away from it. I don't know how.
I can't because he doesn't do it at the same time. At least that one was somewhat close to when I said it. I'll go down to like Zambian League, the Z's, and then he'll go Friday. He'll do it on Saturday.
Ungovernable.
It's ridiculous.
Well, it's because even though it's Saturday, it might still be Friday somewhere else.
Exactly, over the international dateline. That is true.
You're all ridiculous.
Somewhere in the Marshall Islands, it's still Friday.
Anybody wonders why
the
this
Marshall
segment
Islands
takes
League
2 hours to do? You're getting a prime example. La Liga, Getafe and Levante. Bundesliga, Hertha and Bochum. FA Cup, Manchester United hosting Middlesbrough. Colombia, you got Once Caldas and Independiente Medellin. Copa Argentina.
That's where you're going, brother.
Yeah, you might be in trouble because Arsenal de Sarandi is hosting Chaco Forever. That's the team name. It's on the badge. It's awesome.
That's
what else we got? We got the truck drivers team, Barraca Central against Acasuso. I do not know them. Defensa y Justicia is hosting Sacachispas. Where is Almirante Brown? Where are they playing on Friday? I do not see Almirante Brown on. Yeah, they're hosting Agropecuario Argentino. I think they wear like red and green. I am going to go with, out of the Copa Argentina, I will go with, I want a decent match here.
Yeah.
But the Argentine League hasn't started, so, I mean, it could be absolute chaos in any of these.
Yeah, Agropecuario looks like they have Christmas colors in their crest. It is red and green.
Yeah, it's weird.
Nacional.
I don't know if Jarrett's favorite team, Claypole, is in it. I don't see them on this round of games. Sorry, Jarrett.
I'll pull them out later. It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. What would be the best matchup? There's not really any good ones because you got some random ones here. I'll go with... I don't think we have any numbers on any of these. No. I'll go with Arsenal and Chaco Forever. You going to veto it?
Nope.
Okay. It is Arsenal de Sarandi and Chaco Forever.
Chaco Forever.
Please pull up the information on Chaco
That's
Forever.
where I'm going, brother.
Thank you.
And it's Chaco Forever.
Yeah.
It's Chaco Forever.
Yeah.
It is 3 words. Chaco Forever.
There's different versions of their badge. Like there's one that just has it like it's black and white stripes on the bottom. It looks like generic badge.
Yeah.
And then there's one that says Chaco Forever in the top part of it. There's also this one that is CACHFE, where it's like abbreviated, and it's even more ridiculous.
Founded in 1913, the use of an English phrase was common to clubs in Argentina at the turn of the 20th century, but the term Chaco Forever is unique. It is thought that the club founder felt that such a name would guarantee a prosperous future and, in short, make it a club forever. The colors the club chose to wear as their identity represented the local economy at the time: white for cotton, black for coal.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
There you go.
Chaco forever. Can they play Club Always Ready in Bolivia at some point? Please. Can we create a cup competition for them? Can we create a
probably
soccer
do it now.
down
No
here
one's
cup?
gonna be. You could probably do it right now. No one's gonna be caught off guard.
Yeah. Let's have a soccer down here cup between Club Always Ready and Chaco forever.
Currently playing Zone B of the regionalized third level of Argentine football Torneo Argentino A.
I don't believe they've ever played against one another. Arsenal last season in December, they finished it up with two draws and 2 losses in their last 4. Chaco forever in the Torneo Federal A. They won their last 6 games to finish the season.
And someone in option trading has hijacked their
So, that's not good. Actually, John, you have outdated information. Chaco forever has been promoted to the Primera Nacional.
Good Lord.
They got promoted last season, so they are starting their season on Valentine's Day against Club Atlético San Telmo. So Arsenal, a bottom-end first division team against a team that just got promoted to the second division. Jarrett, what you picking? We have no numbers. Don't even ask for odds.
I was going to ask for numbers, but
nope.
Those don't exist.
Come on,
man. Give me Chaco forever, just for no good reason.
Okay.
It's just a good name.
It is a good name. That part's true. I am going to go with this thing going Arsenal's way. I can't. Sorry, Chaco.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Nope.
Nick.
Jason was more of a Tivas man.
If we had picked Deportivo Morón with the giant rooster on the crest, then yes, I would have picked them. But sorry, Chaco.
So this is Arsenal the Lesser versus Chaco.
One of the Arsenals, the lesser, yeah. There's a few of them out there.
Okay.
This might be the second most of the Arsenals.
Well, what's on the logo of Arsenal?
They wear the light blue and red. It's kind of a unique combination. It looks like a rook under a slash, and I think that's I can't tell what that is over there. It's a weird crest. Okay. I don't even know how to describe the shape.
Chaco's background concerns me.
Why does it concern you?
I'm gonna go with Arsenal.
What concerns you about Chaco?
Well, they have a background built on cotton and naturally and coal, which are two. Yeah, nah.
No, they're not based on that. That's just what they pick colors from.
I see company stores and all that, and I'm going Arsenal.
Patsy Cline FC.
That's
just
right.
That's just what they picked colors from. Arsenal is
Big John.
Exactly.
Big Bad John.
Arsenal is based in Buenos Aires. They're in the Sarandi neighborhood. I was looking for any information about
club's best-known former player is Burchaga.
Yeah, he started there. The Grondonas were the people who founded the club, and that name is very important because Julio Grondona left them, went on to become president of Independiente, then became president of the Argentine FA. He was also a vice president of FIFA. He was implicated in all kinds of crazy things. So that is who you're picking, Nick. And they did name themselves after the English club Arsenal. Okay. So you're picking the Grondonas, who are very corrupt.
The corrupt?
Very corrupt.
Okay.
You picking Arsenal?
Give me a draw. I don't like either one of them.
Yeah, Nick was going to struggle with that one. I
think he was. Yeah.
All right, John.
Arsenal.
Okay. Saturday, John, this is yours.
Yep, and I'm going to go with the George Bello Derby here.
He's playing himself?
Yes, he's playing himself.
How is it the George Bello Derby? You could have said it's the American outside back derby because who are they playing?
They're playing a Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Who plays outside back for Borussia Mönchengladbach?
Who plays who?
Joe Scally.
Oh, Joe Scally, that's right. Okay.
He's trying to set you up, man.
I know.
All right, so it's a 9:30 game. This is 12 versus 14 in the table. Bielefeld is hosting. I don't know if Bello jump straight in. I doubt it.
Yeah.
But who knows? Bielefeld is on 21 points. Mönchengladbach is on 22. The odds, Bielefeld is plus 230. Mönchengladbach is plus 105. That's for two teams aren't separated by very much. That's a big separation in the odds. The draw is 260. Recent matches between them, Mönchengladbach won the home game in September 3-1. They won the home game last season in April 5-0. And they won last time at Arminia Bielefeld 1-0 last January. Bielefeld comes in since the break unbeaten, 2 draws and a win. They won last time out at Eintracht Frankfurt. Gladbach comes in since the winter break with 2 losses in league play and a loss to Hanover in the Pokal. Why are the odds what they are?
I know.
Based off the current form. I'm really confused now on this one. And I got to pick. Crap.
Nick, we need to investigate if these teams are in East Germany or not.
I don't think... is Bielefeld a former East German? But then they're the ones who are the big negative, but maybe they're throwing it. But they just added a players. I'm really confused. They're at home. They're in better form. I'm going to go with Bielefeld. Nick.
Let's see. All right, hold on. Give me a look.
I'm baffled by these numbers.
I know.
I mean, Burns says Gladbach's seriously the better team, which, yeah, I think on paper I can buy that, but they're not good right now.
No.
Bielefeld's
lost 2 in league play, only a point above Bielefeld. Bielefeld is unbeaten in their last 5.
I mean, even before the break, like Gladbach beat Bayern in the first game back. Sorry, in January. They did like a weird friendly. I don't know why it's separated. So they have won 1 game since the break. But before that, going into the break, they drew the last game against Hoffenheim. They lost 4 in a row before that. Gladbach's been a mess.
Let me see really quick here. Who these guys been playing?
Who? Gladbach?
They beat no.
Bielefeld.
Yeah, they beat Leipzig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beat Eintracht Frankfurt.
They're
Drew
5 in a row without a loss.
Yeah,
3 wins.
Drew Freiburg.
And
Then they beat Leipzig.
They held Bayern to 1 goal.
Yeah, well, Bayern might have been playing like 5-year-olds in that game. They've had a bunch of issues.
Give me a Armenia Nitrate.
Okay, John.
Armenia Nitrate.
Yeah, I'm going Bielefeld too.
Okay, Jarrett.
Give me the draw.
Yeah, I figured that's where you were going to go. All right.
Wow.
Sunday. Well, I mean, you weren't going to pick the same thing that everybody else picked. You don't do that. I know you.
No.
Well, at some point, you have to break away from the pack with an attempt to win. We've gone over this strategy. I beat you 1 year. I beat you 1 week doing this by mimicking your picks to Sunday and then breaking from you and getting it right.
Yes. Yeah, one time you did that. It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went on a little bit of a tear towards the end, but you still finished last, tied with people who played the whole time. But, anyway. Sunday. I need a pick, people. Oh, he's got the Greek Super League. The oldest played rivalry in the Greek Super League history, PAOK and Panathinaikos.
There you go.
John, are you going to allow that to stand? John, you can veto it. It's just a Twitch pitch making the pick. John walked away.
John's gone, dude.
Twitch pitch, that's what John thinks of your pick right there. He walked
I
away.
think
That
he
might
loses
be
the
a
veto,
veto
though.
by proxy.
Wow.
I think he loses the veto.
We're going to do it like wrestling.
He's not here.
Is he
We're
going to get
counting
counted out?
Yeah.
You're counting way too fast for a wrestling gimmick, Nick.
That's how you have to do it.
No. They slow it down. It depends.
Well,
Here we go.
It slows down in the 7-8-9, Charles Robinson style.
I mean, come on. This is ridiculous.
He's out.
Okay, we're down past the 10 count. Can we just? He's abandoned his veto.
Okay, are we going to allow it then? We get a consensus veto.
What was the pick?
Yeah. It's a good pick.
Now he's back.
He's back.
Well,
This guy.
we hit the 10 count. Too bad.
We hit the 10 count. He's out. He's out.
No.
He's out.
No, Commissioner overrules you. John,
What?
you walked away when you have
Oh
a
my
veto
God, we're gonna have a work
possibility.
stoppage, aren't we?
Oh.
Yep.
You walked away.
Oh
They're trying to take the veto away from you.
no, why is that?
Attica.
Because
you walked away.
Attica.
Because you walked away. That's why.
Attica.
I'm giving you the opportunity to veto Pauk
Mhm.
versus Penitent Icos that the Twitch pitch selected on Sunday.
Attica.
He vetoes it. Yes.
¿Qué cazzo estás
Yes!
diciendo?
Yes. That's what I like to hear. Twitch pitch.
This is some NWO. This is the second referee.
It's awesome. That's what it is.
Wow.
It's awesome.
No, this
Wow.
is
No, I'm not doing that, John.
this is Russo
No.
taking over.
Wow.
No. Twitch pitch.
Twitch pitch. I want everyone to know on the Twitch pitch. I was 100% in your corner on this.
No.
I tried to take away the veto. I tried.
Oh my God.
What are you? It is Malakia. It is true, Will.
Look at these
But it-
fellas.
Malakia.
What are you picking now,
Malakia.
Twitch pitch? Now that he has burned his veto.
Everyday Malakia.
It is. Let's go listen to that wonderful techno remix that was done on YouTube, please. It's
Mhm.
amazing.
Just not around your family.
Hey, I'm just saying, pick the squirrels now if you want. You can pick the squirrels.
The Twitch pitch put a lot of unbelievable.
John vetoed it.
Oh my God.
Yell at him. They might pick the squirrels.
I'm not a fan of Pauk.
Why are you not a fan of Pauk? What did they do?
It took me forever to pronounce it properly.
Well, that's fair enough. All right, are we getting a
Squirrels?
Wow.
No, I wasn't going to use it for myself, Thomas. I wasn't going to steal the veto. I was trying to make it a consensus veto. I would have come up with a different rule if they voted
All
to
right,
allow
so
the
we've
game.
got
I'd
Barca
make it up.
Atleti and
All right, what are we picking, Twitch pitch? Where are we at? We got a second for the Squirrels. We got a second for Barca and Atleti. Now we got Santa Coloma and
Squirrels.
Carol.
Sharif.
We got a
Sharif.
Squirrels.
That's Sharif and
Good.
Squirrel, so that's 3.
Good.
Ricky, is that official? You're the captain. I want official confirmation. I want the and you got to remind me who the freaking Squirrels are.
May all the squirrel dreams come true.
I don't even remember. So it's
Unbelievable.
Andorra, Santa Coloma, and Caroy or Caroy? It's Andorra. Would that be French?
No, they're their own principality.
Well, I know, but I'm not saying it's literally French. I'm saying the word Carroi. Would you say it in a French manner?
See what their first language is.
Okay.
So
So it's UE Santa Coloma, not Athletic Club. Or no, there's an FC Santa Coloma. Sorry. We have
I
multiple
am
Santa Colomas.
stunned by this.
So
Why are you
it's
stunned?
Stunned.
Andorran
the Twitch
people
pitch
are a
didn't
Romance
go-
ethnic group of Catalan descent, so it might be Catalan.
Oh my God.
Oh, I could get kind of Frenchish.
God.
Santa Coloma. UE Santa Coloma is very important. 'Cause
Yes.
There's multiple Santa Colomas. Against CE Caroy.
Kawa, Kawa, according to Katie. Oh, Karwa.
Okay.
Karwa.
Kawa, or do you know, or are you guessing, Katie?
Well-
You're going French with this, I'm assuming.
She can she can speak a little French.
Okay. No, I mean, if it's French, I think that's correct, but we don't know necessarily if it's French. Tell us about CE Kawa, John.
I was going to go with UE Santa Coloma because I already
You can tell us about them too. They're the Squirrels. We know that
Yes.
much.
play in the Primera Divisio.
Yeah, we know that.
On 23 September 1986 in the village of Santa Coloma. In 1996, the club established a football academy to give a qualitative leap in the field of sports in the country.
I bet that they have.
The club acted as a farm team for many Andorran teams, including FC Santa Coloma.
Well, that makes sense.
First football department team was refounded after being inactive many years in 2006 by joining the Andorran Football League Segona Divisio the following year. They play in the Primera after winning the Segona in the 2007-2008 season, won their first trophy in 2013. Yellow has been the traditional UE Santa Coloma color. Many of the home kits alternate yellow and black. Even then, in its beginnings, the club dressed up the colors of the parish of Andorra la Vella, green and navy, and occasionally wearing an orange kit during some seasons. Until 2013, the badge was representing Santa Coloma's pre-Romanical church tower and the most traditional team icon, the squirrel. The nowadays crest still represents the icons of UE Santa Coloma, featuring club colors yellow and black in the Air Foundation, 1986. Club have an alternate badge representing the Santa Coloma squirrel and the colors of the Andorran nation with the country motto Virtus Unita Fortior. So there you
go. Ricky is saying, tell them about the final home game, John.
Final home game? You tell me, Ricky.
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Don't know.
I don't either.
Alex Pacine, you were not teetering.
Okay, I got it. Apparently, there's a long-standing tradition for a number of fans to wear squirrel costumes at the club's last home game of each season.
Well, okay. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
I like these guys.
The Esquirols.
So their opponents here, Club Esportiu Kawa. I'm leaning on you, Katie. They are nicknamed L'Escola, the school or the academy. They're only 8 years old. They are chaired by Victor Hugo Perez Reyes. They are not very good this season at all. They're 0-13. They have conceded 43 goals in 13 matches. They've only scored 10. They founded it as a youth academy in 2014. They turned pro with a group in 2015. They take their name after one of the emblematic mountains of the country. Pic de Kawa is located in the valley of the cities of Andorra la Vella and Escaldes Ingordani. The mountain is on the club crest, along with the Andorran flag colors and the colors of the team itself. It's a very complicated crest. It's got the Andorran flag, which is blue, yellow, and red. It's got mountains, and it's got purple and white stripes. They're very confused. That's probably why they're 0-13. That part I don't really like very much. They're probably going to get blown out. But anyway, what are we picking here, Nick?
Squirrel People.
Yeah, the Squirrel People are not exactly the best team in the league, but they got 22 points, and Kawa's got 0. So, I mean, just there you go. Jarrett.
Squirrel.
John?
Squirrel.
Yeah, I'm going with the Squirrels too. That's fine. I am going to use this game for the prop bet, though. I got to check one thing first, though, because I don't know how deep I can go in the prop bet of this, because I don't know how much information I get on the Andorran League on games. Let's see what the Squirrels did last time. It was a Santa Coloma derby last time out, and FC Santa Coloma beat the Squirrels. So I do get card information. I don't get stats. So we're just going to go with how many goals the Squirrels put up on Kawa, since we all picked the Squirrels to win. Jarrett, what are you picking? Goals from the Squirrels?
2.
2? Okay. Nick?
Give me 3.
3 for the Squirrels. John?
5.
5 for the Squirrels. Let's see really quick here.
Was Jay Heaps coaching the other team?
No, they're garbage.
See, now does Jason do the Price is Right move and go 0, or does he?
No,
go
I pick what I think is going to happen. The Squirrels are not really a high scoring team. I am also going to go with 2. I will double down there.
And apparently, the nation of Andorra is having their winter sales in all of their stores.
The nation is?
Yeah, it's like it's the most sought after sales in Andorra are from 17 December to 13 March.
Okay.
Yeah, they're promoting tourism by having like nationwide sales in their stores.
I did not know this, Alex Pacine. The important takeaway from this game is that squirrel in Spanish is esquirros.
Yeah, saw that.
I never knew what squirrels were. I thought there was. No, I don't think it's a squirrel. What was it? I think it was a squirrel that ran on the field in Mexico, and they were calling it something else. It might have been some other rodent variety. I'm not sure. Esquirros. I like that, though. It is John's fault for vetoing a good game, but I kind of like it that we got the squirrel game. I know Nick's a big fan.
Hey, look, I made a grave error, clearly, in vetoing squirrel people last time.
You did. It became a war to get the squirrels on the board.
And I am thrilled that the error has been corrected. We have righted the wrong. Unfortunately, my dear colleague here, he with poor food decisions has compounded this error. So in the end, Twitch Pitch wins. Good for you.
That was not exactly seeing the error of his ways, Ricky. That was not a face turn in any form or fashion.
I wasn't expecting a face. Look, this is not the
No. They're saying that you did, and I'm like, that's not how it worked out at all.
What? I'm just saying. Look, I made a grave error. I said I made a grave error in vetoing squirrel people. I'm glad that the squirrel people have now they get their moment in the sun. I'm thrilled.
Squirrel people.
Squirrel people.
It sounds like a Roger Corman movie.
Yeah. Attack of the Squirrel People.
It kind of does.
By the way, if anyone out there is not familiar with Roger Corman, he produced some of the worst B movies that Hollywood has ever seen. But
so did Ed Wood.
He gave breaks to almost everyone you know and love in Hollywood now, like everyone from Scorsese to Jim Cameron, all across the board. You owe a debt because he had Jim Cameron making movies like Piranha 2 with flying piranhas. So yes, that's what we have here.
We have squirrel people.
We have squirrel people.
I just picture a squirrel people movie it would have been a B movie with like Max von Sydow making making an appearance.
The squirrel people are taking over.
I need to see the.
We tried to get Lars von Trier to direct it, but it was a little too dark for him.
Sandy Frank. He's the source of all our pain. Sandy Frank.
Okay. That took a whole different turn than I was thinking, but all right.
Not a best T3000 fan, I see. It's okay.
No, I know the show, but I do not remember individual things at all.
That's
amazing.
They watched the movie The Green Slime, and as soon as Sandy Frank's name
came up, that's where Nick and I have you covered.
That's good. I mean, I know it and I know the gist, but I cannot remember any of those episodes. I watched a bunch of them back in the day.
God's gift to television.
No, that was Kids in the Hall.
Well, that's one of them, true.
Or The State, possibly. The State was really good. The State's a little more underrated. Kids in the Hall is brilliant. Crushing your head.
Pinching your face.
The best is when the drunk girl comes out of the club. He's like, "Here, let me help you." Every time he pokes her, she throws up more.
Yes. There we go. Right. We have righted the ship. Good stuff.
Oh my god.
I'm very sad to alert people that we don't have any exact Nicholas Bentner news.
Exact.
Thank God.
Well, it doesn't look like he's done anything to.
Well, it is.
Like,
it is. He's waiting for that phone call from the transfer during the transfer window. Maybe business.
No, he retired. He's done. He doesn't even have a car right now, I guess, because the cops took it or something or other. But he is mentioned in some articles.
Are we really doing this?
Yeah, we are. What's your favorite segment?
This sucks.
You love it.
Wow.
I just like his music. That's all. He is mentioned in an article in a place that we're not going to talk about.
3-letter, 4-letter.
It's 3. But it is a weirdest football transfers compilation. You know, kind of perfect. It's deadline day. You get all this stuff. Bentner, number 1. Final day of the transfer window, August of 2012. Juve were short of a center forward. Even Arsenal fans were shocked that they came in to get Nicholas Bentner.
Jesus Christ.
11 games. When I said earlier that Juve was drunk back in the day, this was the epitome of their drunkenness.
Yes.
No goals in 11 games, and they did not buy him on a permanent deal.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. Need to get Nick a Bentner Juventus jersey. That would be amazing. Yes. Other ones on the list here. This is getting into your realm, John. Steven Kalker. You remember him?
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp brought him in at Liverpool from QPR. He had one cap for England, and he was a defender, but he was asked to play up front.
That's genius.
And then his time at Liverpool was cut short because he was admitted into rehab with addictions to alcohol and gambling. That's a problem.
Yes.
The one I remember on this is the Carlos Tevez and Javier Mascherano transfer to West Ham when Alan Pardew didn't even know who they were.
God.
And he's all grinning like he's excited when they bring them in. Mascherano barely played. Tevez didn't play for the longest time, and then he kept them up almost single-handedly, scoring the goal that kept them in the Premier League. That's why Alan Pardew drives me insane ever since. He didn't play the Argentines. He didn't even know who they were. I think that is Edgar Davids made the list. We haven't had an Edgar Davids reference in a long time. Edgar Davids at Barnet.
I have heard stories that man lives in Atlanta.
He did at one point.
Yeah.
He absolutely did at one point. I don't think he still does. He lived in Brookhaven. He played in one of our Soccer in the Streets Champions League events. I think that was right after he had sold his place in Brookhaven. But yeah, he had a house or a condo or something in Brookhaven.
Because wasn't he at a soccer? Wasn't he at a thing at North DeKalb Mall? Didn't he show up for one of those once?
North DeKalb Mall. Not that I know of. He was at our Soccer in the Streets event at Grady Stadium. Played for the Tottenham team. And he spoke to a long time ago, something at Emory that I went to. And that was the first time I met him. Ricky Bonfield hasn't played any games yet, so Eric Lopez hasn't played any games yet. They haven't even started their season yet. The Copa Argentina this weekend is the first time they play. But Davids went to Barnet. What level is Barnet now, John?
Let's see. Let me see if they're League One or League Two. They're hurting from what I can remember.
He was a player manager at Barnet. They were League Two when he went there. He's the player manager, and Nick, you'll appreciate this. You'll probably buy an Edgar Davids jersey. In the first 8 games of the season, as the player manager, he got sent off 3 times.
There you go.
And he got booked in every game he played.
Hey, look, he did play for Milan for a minute, but he's a Juve player. I mean,
Fifth division. They're in the National League.
They're in the National League now. Well, maybe he had a hand in sending them down.
17th in the National League too, but they shouldn't get relegated.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a Juve player, man.
He also, as the player manager, elected to wear number 1.
I mean,
There you go.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So there's your Nicholas Bentner reference of the week.
Okay, good.
Oh, Davids was at the MLS event during the All-Star game here in Atlanta too. Mini pitch opening. I did not know he was at that. He might still have a place here.
Because I thought I remembered Davids
not at North DeKalb Mall.
No, but I also thought I remembered that. I think during MLS Cup, I think that wasn't there something either pre or halftime. I think that he was in the press box and they were having a.
He did it. He had a cup of coffee with Turner, when they had their Champions League coverage.
Yeah, that would have been around that time.
Not great. I'm not saying he was drunk on air. I'm just saying.
No.
It looked that way.
I don't think Edgar Davids hammered the spike, Ricky. Did he? I don't remember it if he did.
Those glasses, though, were legendary.
Oh, yeah.
The glasses with the braids, that was legendary.
Mm-hmm.
He's an amazing player in his day.
Yeah, he was the when you hear a midfielder called the engine room, that's because of him. I mean, that guy was that personified.
He was the whole engine room by himself.
It
was ridiculous.
He had a battery that would not stop. That he was a machine.
Yeah, it faded a little bit towards the end. When it fell off for him, it fell off hard.
Yeah, when it fell off.
Father Time slapped him in the face a couple times. It was really mean. Jarrett, final words from you.
Oh my God.
Well, you got to come up with something, Jarrett.
I know. Qualifiers still to come. Have fun with them. There should be some really good games. Man,
I'm not expecting fun in the U.S. game at all.
Nope.
Well, no, because the fan base makes it not fun.
That and they'll be frozen. The games will probably suck.
Yeah.
And
minus 75 degrees at Allianz, and it's a problem that you created yourself.
I don't know if you even have to exaggerate it. It might be at kickoff 0.
Yeah.
Like, that's horrible.
It's just no.
See, I wasn't even going to go to the U.S. game for my final thoughts, honestly.
Sorry, I have to make sure I give the captain his credit. Edgar Davids did hammer in the golden spike. I did not remember that at all. Good job. Thank you, Ricky. Sorry.
No matter how chaotic, no matter how weird you think things are for you and for your own, shout out to basically anyone associated with the Burkina Faso national team right now, because they're playing in a AFCON in Cameroon while their country is going through a military coup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what state
they won. They got to the quarter. They got to the semis.
Yes. God only knows what shape things are going to be in when they get home, or how or if they go home. But my heart goes out to them that have to deal with it, because it's, even if they agree with everything that's going on, it's going to be awkward and tough.
Yeah, the thing I was wondering about that squad is how I don't know how many of them play domestically.
Yeah,
I don't know how many are actually going back to Burkina Faso, or if they're going back to clubs in Europe. But any which way, it's still like, just to be able to put that to the side and win a quarterfinal like they did over the weekend, that's insanity.
Yep.
John, final thoughts.
Looks like we've got a CBA in the NWSL right on the edge of February 1st. So I'll have more on that tomorrow on Soccer Down Here, perhaps.
Maybe they can get into some normal kind of a build to a season, because it has been a weird off season for them. And I really wonder what this year is like for the NWSL.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many roster moves that you can't keep up. There's been so much off the field stuff at all different levels. I'm glad this didn't linger on. I'm glad they put this to bed and they can get moving at least. That is good. But there's still a lot of work to do to get the momentum back, and we'll see if they can do it quickly. But we'll try to have some more details on that. I don't really have anything major. I think I've thrown all the crazy little bits of news that I could find at y'all at different points over the day. Nick Milan was linked to Dele Alli at one point, according to Gazzetta dello Sport, but they didn't get it done. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing for you. Sad, huh?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Very.
Yeah. I can tell. I can absolutely tell. Christian Eriksen, what you mentioned earlier, that is done. He went to Brentford. 6-month deal.
As long as he's healthy and able to go, and he has the gears to do it, have fun.
Yeah. Really interested to see, how he can do and just where he is. I mean, physically, he's passed all the tests. The only reason Inter didn't keep him is because of the laws and playing with that defibrillator inserted. So he's going to go elsewhere. Brentford could have had maybe one of the wildest, crazy bits of good fortune to bring him in on a free that you could find.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope he can do well. I hope he lights it up. I hope he absolutely lights it up. Nick, final thoughts.
Two final thoughts. The first one's a bit serious. Mason Greenwood, that story's out there, and it's easy for you to go and check and see everything that's going on with it. A thing I want to add in on there. One is that innocent until proven guilty is in a court of law, not in the court of public opinion, and not when it comes to brand management. So understand that there's a huge dividing line between those two things. Another thing, heart goes out for the alleged victim. I hope that she's surrounded and loved and supported and cared for. And as far as everything with Greenwood goes, justice is going to do its thing. But what I want to hit on is that anytime a story like this comes out, and keep in mind, I have two kids. I have a 5-year-old daughter, a 12-year-old son, and teaching consent in this house is like a priority for me, right? And it's something that for both of my kids, we learned very early that no means physical stop to all activities, right? Like wrestling, tickling, and believe me, my daughter is like Macho Man Randy Savage, jumping off of like large objects, flying elbow drops, leaping off, executing pretty good rear naked choke. It's pretty scary, but both of my kids know the minute somebody says no, stop, it's done. And if there's even a hint that something has gone on a step further, my kids will call it out. Hey, Charlotte, Dad said stop. Dad, Charlotte said stop. Daddy, Jackie Jack said stop, and that's it. We have to teach our kids this. And we can't do this thing where we start building in ambiguity early on. And I'm sorry, it's a critique of the generation that I came up in. It seemed like we were raised by like a bunch of middle management sales culture where we're taught that no is just a step to yes. And there's no context surrounding it. And so kids grow up with this. They don't know how to handle failure, rejection, any of it, because no is a step to yes. And I understand the idea behind it, but we have to start teaching kids early on that no is a hard stop on a great many things. And that's parents' jobs. We have to do that. That's on us. And so if you are a younger parent and you're wondering, when do we start doing this stuff? Right away. The minute you start wrestling, the minute you start playing around with your kids, no, stop. It's a showstopper. And that has to happen very early on, because it's on us to make sure that we help our kids not only know when to stop activities, but also know the red flags on problematic personalities, to know when to get it's probably a little easier to get out earlier if you can identify some of those red flags and get the hell out faster. But not all situations are the same. So let's surround, the alleged victim with love and support. Give her space to do her thing. Let's not pry. Let's not dig. English media. Several fingers for you. Pick which one you want and stay out of this lady's life so she can get about her business. Consent, consent, consent. Teach it. Know it. Evangelize it to your kids. Outside of that, this is going to be my last soccer over there for probably about a month, I would say, north of. There may be a little drops here and there, but hopefully have some good things coming for you down the pipeline. But there's some hurdles we have to jump over first. I'm Sicilian. I'm not putting things out in the universe because we believe inherently that things are going to go sideways if we do it. I'm not doing it. So if we can get over a couple of hurdles, some really good things coming down the pipeline for you. So I'm going to leave it at that. Until then, I wish everyone lots of love and happiness. Be kind to each other. Be kind to each other. A lot of weirdness in the world, a lot of wackiness, anger. It's fun to be a jerk sometimes. It's fun to be an ass. But understand that there's a cost to it, and that cost is not always paid by you. So be nice, be friendly, be kind. It doesn't cost a damn thing, and it helps some people out. That's all I'm saying. All right, that's it for me. So mucha mucha euro, y'all, and I'll see you guys on the other side. God willing, and the creek don't rise.